Now then, hopefully this is coming through for you guys already. So I took a look at the poll that I put out just recently, asking if you guys wanted to shoot M101 again, or if we're going to try some different targets and do a little bit of EAA. And it looks like overwhelmingly you want to do some EAA. So that's basically what we're going to do. I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit darker. Hey there, Bode. Good of you to join, mate. Hope you're having a good evening or day, wherever you are. Yeah, so today we're going to be doing a bit of EAA, and maybe we can also take a look at the supernova as well, perhaps. Wow, a bunch of people joining. Enrique, Chris, Jack. Evening, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. So at the moment, I'm just using Nina. I've just changed my filter out because I thought with EAA, we're going to be hitting maybe galaxies and nebula and all sorts of things. So I wanted a general purpose filter for tonight. So I've gone with the IDAS LPS D2. And I just need to get it kind of focused because I'm going to use Nina's flat wizard to point right to zenith and take some flats for our SharpCap session. Hey there, Pete. Danny as well. Good to see you, Danny. Wow. How many of you guys are actually out imaging tonight? Let's let an autofocus run on this before I bother taking any flats. Craig from Colorado. You're going on M101. Nice. Some people have been saying it's kind of fading away now. Is the supernova a little bit? Leon, hey there. How's it going, mate? Chris, you're out imaging right now. You've just set up. Fantastic. Brody, you're done with your M101. I've got an image I can hopefully just show you in a sec. So from the 2 live streams that we did, I ended up with this. Effectively, that was my final, if you like, M101 shot. Just 130 minutes, that is. Jack Maynard is imaging the elephant's trunk with your new player one. Mate, congratulations. Huge congratulations. How's it going? I hope it's going all nicely. Pete, you're just waiting, same as me, for it to get darker. Yeah. Shouldn't be too long now, mate. Shouldn't be too long. Sorry if you can hear some crinkling noises and things coming across the microphone. I've got our little puppy next to us here, and she's decided that her new favourite toy is a plastic plant pot. Never mind the hundreds of pounds worth of toys we've bought for her. She prefers the plant pot. Danny, you had your try 2 days ago. It's on Insta. I'll check that out, mate. Yeah, I don't really go on Instagram that much these days, I'll be honest. Alexander, hey there, mate. Jack. Oh, mate, that's superb. Really glad. Yeah. I guess you're in for a good session then. Green Cat, good to see you again. Got 1 hour each on the dumbbell, the tulip, and the eagle. Ooh, the eagle's a tough target from here in the UK. Nice. Enrique, trying to capture a wide field Triffid and Sol with the mini raster. Yeah, it is kind of a mini raster, isn't it, that lens? Ananias, greetings from Athens. Beautiful place, mate. Hello to you too. Hope you're having a lovely day. Once this autofocus routine finishes, which shouldn't take too long, I'm going to go ahead, switch over to SharpCap. We can take some flats and get started really on this EAA session. So I'll be relying on you guys for some target suggestions on things that you might like to see, and we'll just go after wherever you want, really. Will, how you doing, mate? Active shape. Night, mate. Ruz. How are you doing, buddy? I hope you're having a good day. I'm doing well, thank you. And I am planning on having a nice little session, yeah. It says it's going to be clear right through till dawn, but I'll believe it when I see it. Chris Smith. Every time I get a notification from Stella, mate, it's pausing your video. Very annoying. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one, mate. Maybe it could be some sort of permissions thing. It's letting it supersede other stuff that's on your device at the time. This one, trying to figure out to shoot at 0 gain or unity gain, or shooting when the camera starts doing high conversions gain at gain 180. I would, in that scenario, go for HCG mode at gain 180, mate. That's tends to be when cameras are operating at the most, I want to say efficient. Doesn't really seem like the right word, but it'll have to do. Glad to hear that, Will. Hopefully forecast is true, yeah. Yeah. Can't be far off. I think that's us focused now, so neat. Next up, get ready to take some flats before this EAA session. So are we target hopping? Bode asks. Yes, indeed, mate. That's the plan. I'm thinking we're going to jump through a few different things, whatever you guys want to see, really. I've got a pretty general purpose filter in tonight. It's just an IDAS LPS D2, so we can shoot galaxies, we could take a look at the moon, shoot nebulas, whatever you want. You staying in this evening, Ruz? Long enough day already. May I? Yeah, I feel that. Wow. So we've hopefully settled now. Yeah, it should have hit zenith. So let's get SharpCap ready to take some flats now. I'm not actually going to use Nina for this imaging session. LPS D2 solid filter. Yeah, thank you, mate. It's a good one. It's a bit of a jack of all trades, I think. Sorry about just randomly punching microphone as well. Now where's SharpCap? The Tulip. Ooh. Found the Antler Duo narrowband filter to be absolutely fantastic also. Superb. Yeah, probably the best duo narrowband I've used. I had I mean, the high-speed version of that, I initially had some reservations, but now having tested it again on my Raster 11, it seems to be the best of the bunch. Rather oddly. Hello, Evie. You wanted to come appear on camera? This is the said dog, by the way. Lovely little pug. The Crescent. Edward, good to see you, Edward. Hope you're having a nice day in Orlando. Beautiful. David, somebody asked me to take a picture of a star. Could you do that if I give you the positions of this star? Potentially, David. Potentially. Seems like we're having a few people saying for the Crescent. We can certainly try that in a sec. So I'm going to disconnect my camera from Nina at this point. Let's go. Reconnect it in SharpCap. Chris says, cheers for your help on the offset for the camera. Your method worked perfectly. Oh, that's superb, mate. Yeah, I'm glad that's worked out for you. When compared to the Optilong L Ultimate as well. The Ultimate gave you halos and was harsher. Interesting. Right, let's go full resolution on this thing. But not full zoom. That's just excessive. Right. Flat panel time, I reckon, is where we're at. So I think we should settle on a kind of middling gain value for tonight. Maybe 200, 250. I'm going to have to let my dog out in a second as well. And a little bit more exposure. In fact, we'll determine that in a sec. So, right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pop my flat panel on, so I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'll just leave this rolling for you guys to see. Come on then, Evie, if you want to come out. For anybody wondering, by the way, I'm not using anything special for a flat panel. It's literally just a A3 tracing pad. Whoa! Attack of the green. I guess exposure length needs dropping a little bit. Evening, everybody who's joined. Sorry, I'm a little bit preoccupied at the minute. I'm trying to get some flats ready for us to use. If I could remember. Tools. Right, let's capture some flats. It should let me know, as far as I remember. Histogram status is okay. At the minute, it's a little bit... The white peak is a little bit further to the left than I would like, so I'm going to increase my exposure just a tiny little bit, I think. Maybe we'll go up to 85 milliseconds or so. See where that takes it. A little bit close to center. Nothing really seems to be clipping. We'll go with that. So I have got this ticked to capture and subtract bias frames as well. At the same time, we're going to go with 20 frames and let's hit start. I just noticed that that's new. Keep individual flat frame image files. You never used to be able to do that. Let's try and catch up on chat now while this is doing some captures. Ellen Hans paired with the Rokinon 135. Yeah, it can be a rough combo. Good evening, Alan. Thanks for joining in, mate. Evening, Paul. Evening, Ian. Caldwell 12 Galaxy. I'll have to get some of these images up on screen, I guess, and we can make a decision. Danny. Luke, do you have any experience with the Antler RGB tri-band filter? Unfortunately, mate, I don't. I wish I could say that I did. Steve says, hey Luke, do you know where Purley on the Thames is? I'm afraid I don't, mate, actually. I'm not the strongest when it comes to local geography. Edward Bondman, do you use an OAG on any of your rigs? So I was, up until just changing scope recently to this Celestron Rasa. But obviously no OAG with the Rasa. It'd be too much diffraction cause and such, just not a good fit. So I switched back to using a guide scope for it. But I think where possible, Edward, if you can get away with using an OAG, it's always a pretty good choice. By Reading. Oh, you're staying there? All the way over there from the USA, mate. Nice. I think I remember a comment a while back that you left where you mentioned that you were going to come visit some family. So I assume that's what you're doing. Please do correct me if I'm wrong or just making assumptions there, by the way, mate. Alan, you got your RC8 pointed at the moon. Beautiful night here. Fantastic, mate. Yeah. Glad that helped, Edward. One other thing I would add, by the way, Edward, on the note of off-axis guiding and things like that, it is very nice and is the most precise way to guide, I'd say. But with all these latest small pixel guide cameras and such that are available on the market now, and really sharp guide scopes like the little Evo Guide 50ED that both I and Chloe use, you can get an awful lot of guiding accuracy out of a very small guide scope rig these days. So if you just prefer doing that kind of thing, or you swap rigs around a lot to different back focuses, there's no harm in sticking with the guide scope either. That was you. Good to know, Steve. Yeah, no, I hope I won't misremember him, mate. Bode, Saturn looked great through the eyepiece. Wow. It's well gone for us, mate, here in England. It'll be a while before that's visible again. Rosine, OAG, definitely the way to go if you can be bothered setting it up. Yeah, that's very true. Rick's videos. Got my Nacity on as well. I do. Would you believe it? This is absolutely not a conscious decision. Crikey. Optimistic Souls. Good evening. Do you do it as a hobby? And if so, how long have you been doing it? Yeah, well, it used to be plainly just a hobby. But now, with the support of all the guys helping me out on my YouTube channel, and YouTube, you know, like paying for ad views and things like that, it's actually my job now. Just doing YouTube. It's pretty cool. How long have I been doing it though? Optimistic Souls asked. I think about 8 years, just I guess. It could actually be a little bit longer than that. And I was into visual astronomy before that actually as well. Antonio asks, are you using the galaxy filter? We've got a filter capable of taking photos of galaxies, Antonio. I'll just go ahead and take this flat panel off and we can actually get started, by the way. Nice. I tell you what, it's pretty cold out there tonight. We've been having evenings which have been largely unbearable in the UK for a while now. And then out of nowhere, it's roasting. Or should I say it's freezing tonight, rather. After a warm day. So yeah, Antonio, I was in the middle of answering you, weren't I, mate? I'm using a IDAS LPS D2 filter, which is a pretty general purpose light pollution filter, mate. So if you want to see some galaxies, you guys, we can absolutely do that. So, right, what are we going to use to point around the sky tonight? I think we should use Carte du Ciel. Wish me a great capture. Thank you, mate. It's very nice. Linux Astro, thanks for your stream. We're cloud-centric yet again in Atlanta. Oh, no, mate. That's rough. Let's connect up to the scope. And take a little peek around. So, let's just choose something to have a little look at first. I think a few people were saying the Crescent Nebula just slightly earlier, so we can take a little look at that first. If you guys are comfortable with that. So, that must be the north. Where's the Crescent again? There it is. NGC 6888. So we're going to hit slew and start to see if we can make our way over to it. Go with just a couple of seconds exposures until we can get it appearing on the screen, I think, guys. Ahmad. Hello, hello, mate. Thanks very much for joining. Hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. Rosine, man, I'm envious about the observatory. And yeah, the temperature's certainly dropped last couple of nights. Yeah, same for you then, mate. It's I've gone from just being practically unable to sleep due to being too warm to needing blankets back out, mate. All right, let's see how close we are to said target. I think if you use plate solve and sync, that feature, it should solve with all these stars. I just need to let my dog back in the observatory. She's finished with the business. Come on, Evie. Good girl. What are you doing? Yeah. Yo, let's take a look. So, greetings from Barcelona, Antonio. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Bode suggests the Owl Nebula and M108. certainly something we could hit up, mate. Astrophotography, CDC, now there's a throwback piece of software. Yeah, you're not kidding, mate. It looks like we're getting some plate solve issues right here. So how about I pull a little bit of a sneaky trick and we will disconnect the Poseidon from this. We'll connect it back up in Nina and we'll use Nina's really rather robust plate solver for framing up as target. So it was NGC 6888, I do believe. So we'll load that. Hopefully you guys can see the D line at the bottom. By the way, we're literally just starting to enter, well, not astronomical darkness, as we don't get any at this time of the year, but some kind of darkness. I think I'm satisfied enough with that framing. We've got a neat little bit of cluster action there and some of this these ripples of nebulosity over in the corner. So I'll use this to slew and then we'll start live stacking in SharpCap. Logan's Astro. Hey there, Logan. Hope you're doing well, mate. And congratulations again, by the way, on your recent image of the day on Astrobin. Absolutely beautiful shot, mate. You were asking anyway, are we doing a tiki tour around the night sky? I think so. Yeah, why not? Should be a good bit of fun for all involved. Steve suggests use Stellarium. You know, Steve, I know it works for some people, but I've never had a massive amount of luck using it as a planetarium program. I expect it's just me. I'm doing something wrong. But yeah. You don't have issues sleeping in the heat, I think. Yeah, I thank the Iranian blood. That's the one, mate. Dave Kemp, good evening. Good evening to you too, sir. Back on M101, no clouds so far. That's the way we like it. Yeah. Oh, and there's the Crescent in the field of view. We'll shift back over to SharpCap and start a live stack in just a minute. Hello there, Two Rivers Observatory, Stan. Good to see you, mate. As always, thank you very much for joining in and spending some of your evening with me. Everybody who's joined, actually, it really is appreciated. So it looks like we're lined up. That worked fairly rapid, didn't it? So I'll disconnect camera from there. We'll jump back in on SharpCap. And what do we think? I reckon 30-second exposures, 60-second exposures, something like that. Not really true EAA, but yeah. Nobody's going to tell on me, are they? Let's do a 60-second exposure, and I'll kick guiding off too. We'll just go with that star right there. Keep it simple as possible. It's a slightly burned out star, as you can see by that flat peak on the histogram. But again, who cares? We're just having some fun. I think I'm going to take Rosine's advice and quietly forget that we ever tried using CDC, because it's just not that good, is it? So I'll disconnect from there. I used to use this every bloody session, you know, but since switching to Nina, I think I've finally realised what the heck have I been doing. Right, let's get this ready for a first frame coming in. Don't want to be overly aggressive on that brightness filtering, I reckon, tonight. Sorry, I'll try and catch up on chat a little bit now. Chris, good to see you, Chris. Just had problems solving, but you're on your target now. Good to hear that, mate. No worries, Logan. By the way, that really were a beautiful shot, mate. Astrophotography. I see you replying to Dave there, mate. Yeah, hey, that's... I'm sure everybody understands. I'm one of your fans too, bud. Take as long as you need till you get your mojo back. That's the way. We'd rather have a happy Ruz. Give all the review, get back. Yeah. Have you named your observatory yet? Alan asks. Now that is a good question, Alan. And honestly, I haven't. I'm really letting side down here. Everybody else has got a name for their observatory before it's even finished, but not me. I need to work on that. Right, let's get this thing balanced up and see what we're working with. Let's take a look. So there we have it. The first 1 minute exposure using that IDAS LPS D2 on the raster. The Crescent's visible straight away. Edward Bondman, is it my screen you appear out of focus? Could just be the live stream quality, Edward. I ran an autofocus like right before we took those flats. Wombat Zone, mate. Yeah, mate, indeed. Good to hear you. Hope you've had a good week. The Village Idiot. Love your name, mate. Good evening, all. Clear skies. Clear skies to you too, buddy. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Or night, whatever it is. Let's take a little peek. Wombat Zone, you've been smashing frames out with SharpCap live stack yourself of late. Fantastic. It's a bunch of fun, you know, innit, mate? I really miss it. This kind of thing, this super simple, just enjoying it, nice guy for what it is approach. Do let me know, by the way, guys, if anything's completely wonky with audio and visual and whatever else I can hopefully try and change and make a better experience for you guys. Throw out some observatory names. It's a tough one, that, Will. Yeah, I kind of considered, because I always seem to just wrap up my videos by saying Clear Skies. So I kind of considered Clear Skies Observatory, but that would be a complete lie for here, mate. It's nearly never Clear Skies. That's 60 seconds indeed, Rosine. Sorry I'm a bit late on these messages, by the way, guys. This is now 3 minutes at this point. We can jump in and zoom up a little bit. I'm just now realizing, by the way, I don't think I have cooling enabled on this. Why is cooling not showing up? You know what, I'm not going to worry myself about it. It's fine. Looks like 3 hours of data from Ball 9. Yeah, I can only imagine how rough it is, mate, from that kind of location. That is some serious light pollution you have to deal with. Let's take a little look. Will the Luco Messier Observatory. Andy, good to see you, mate. I'm doing fantastic. Really rather good, as it happens. I hope you're doing well too. Wombat, you've had 7 nights in a row of clear skies. Jeez. Just been throwing your tarp on the rig during the day. That's a good way to do it. Yeah. You've named your observatory the Hypernova Observatory with the ignorant astronomer. Nice. Sorry, I was trying to catch up with chat. Two Rivers Observatory asks, Luca Matico, is there anything around you that sticks out as far as geography? I mean, in terms of like historic cities and things, you mean? York is fairly near to me. That's an ancient, geographically significant site. I also live near a castle. That's just 2 miles away also, or at least the ruins of a castle. Sorry if that's not the kind of thing that you meant, by the way, Stan. You had to use the beta build of SharpCap to get the thermal controls working. That is some good info, Wombat. Thank you. I may have to get that downloaded and installed then, mate. D-Fresh, good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Clear skies again, indeed. It is, yeah. You've picked up your Meade 8-inch LX200 GPS that you won at auction. And you've had clouds ever since. That's typical. Yeah, that's the way she goes, mate, I reckon. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So, not the neatest image I've ever taken, but not bad. Considering it's, what are we on now? 6 minutes of integration on the Crescent. EAA, it's some fun. Bode MK asks, Luke, would you recommend the L enhance filter? These days, probably not, Brody, no. There's too many new filters that came along. They're just a good chunk better now. L Ultimate, probably being, if you want to stick with Optilong, that would likely be my my particular choice, rather than the middling L Extreme. Depends though, what you're looking for, and if you can get one at a really good price, then it might still be worth some time playing around. Leon imaged the Crescent from South Devon last week. Nice one. Hope you had a good session, mate. Green Cat says, mine is called the Bin Bag Observatory. Like Big Bang, but bin bag. Your HEQ5 Pro has been outside, all cables attached, under 2 bin bags for over 10 years. Yikes, mate. That's, I'd be absolutely having eggs leaving my gear outside, but if it's worked, can't knock you. Jack Maynard, you've had 6 out of 7 clear nights. Wow. That has been good. Castle York Observatory. I wonder if that could be, you know, made to work somehow, Ruz. That's interesting. Two Rivers Observatory Stan says, no, something you can name your observatory after. Good idea. I understand now, mate. I totally missed your meaning initially, yeah. They wondering if you've seen any landings at Stonehenge. Several, yes. PR Astro. Hello from Puerto Rico. Hello there, mate. Hope you're having a lovely day. Well, I'm sure you are in Puerto Rico. Really beautiful cloudy sky. Oh, I should have finished the rest of your comment. Looks great for 6 minutes with no dark frame subtractions. Yeah, can't complain, mate, I'd say. Astro Boot, evening to you too, mate. Hope you're doing well. Andy, second night on the Crescent as well. Nice. Started your new observatory today, so you won't have to drag your gear out every night. That's awesome, mate. Have you actually fully broken ground today then, Andy, or is it kind of planning stages sort of thing? I think we're due a little bit of a histogram adjustment. I reckon we should stay on this for maybe 10-15 minutes, by the way, guys. What do you think? And then we'll switch over to another target, whatever people want to see. Steve Hand, the time change is killing you and you've got to get to sleep. Oh, I'm sorry about that, mate. Gonna go to London tomorrow. Good luck with your imaging. Thank you, mate. Superb. I hope you have a beautiful time in the UK and enjoy seeing your family and catching up, mate. That's a really nice thing to be able to do. So I hope I've caught you before you had to go. You managed 30 subs on this last night. Astro Boot says, nice one. What length subs were you going for, by the way, mate? David O'Flanagan asks, when building a dark library, what lengths should be essential? Ooh, when I used to kind of build dark libraries, I would tend to make something like a 60 second and then jump up to 180 seconds and then 5 minutes. So all my imaging would be done with some sort of combination of those exposure lengths. Nice to be on your live stream. Really nice to have you, mate. Thank you. Keep looking up observatory. Sorry, it took me a while Makes sense of that, guys. Yeah, keep looking up. Maybe I should have a new catchphrase, actually. Yeah, keep looking up. James, with the 6th solid night of imaging for you in the south of England. Wow. Yeah, last 2 months, mate. I couldn't agree more. They've been horrendous, haven't they? Jack is suggesting the Tulip next. Alan says NGC6823. I don't actually know what that is. I'll have to open it up. NGC6823. Yeah. Oh, that region. Cool. Andy, you finished the bass this weekend. That's absolutely fantastic, mate. It'll be up before you know it. James, loving these live streams. Superb, bud. Thank you. That's majorly encouraging to hear. I'm extremely inexperienced with stuff like this, so I'm just completely winging it. But feedback like that is really nice. Thank you. Blue Lemon, you're waiting to get a rig with a 10-inch newt, but can't figure out which mount to get. Thinking in between an EQ6R and an AM5. The EQ6 out of those two, mate, is probably your only option for a 10-inch newt. Even though a 10-inch newt is handled by an EQ6, but you won't be able to image when there's really any wind or anything like that. Logan asks, Luke, did you get a catch up with Ollie at all over there? No, mate. Unfortunately, we didn't. He got caught up with some stuff, and his partner, unfortunately, were a little bit ill very early on in their holiday with COVID, the C word. But yeah, he messaged me and we chatted back and forth and stuff. It would have been nice to catch up with him, as you know, he's come all that way across to England, but yeah, just one of them didn't work out, mate. Astrophotography, 3-minute, 5-minute, and 10-minute for you and your dark libraries. Good to know, mate. It seems we've got that overlap there with them 3 and 5 minutes. Dr. Tools, getting 15 hours in the last 4 nights on the Crescent. Wow, that's some serious integration, my friend. Well done. Looks like we could happily switch targets now if you want, by the way. Seems like we've picked up a bunch of that background hydrogen as well. This I don't know, like ripples, I want to say. Let's take a little close-up look a second. That's pretty neat. Decent looking data. It seems like we've had a little bit of oscillation maybe on the guide scope. But all in not too bad. How about the Tulip? Enrique asks. Yeah, a few people have said the Tulip, so I can't see any reason we shouldn't do that, mate. Kind of curious if you can make out the black hole bow shock in the live stream. Interesting. Potentially, mate, I could if I used a narrower filter. If all you guys would rather see is maybe nebulas for EAA live streams and stuff like that, by the way, next time I will put in a much narrower filter so that we can have a real shot at stuff like that. David O'Flanagan asks, so for the Dart Library question, but when do you take them? Do you have the CCD connected to the scope and filters, or just cover the sensor? So you really just want to cover up the camera on its own, David, because if you're covering the scope and such and putting lens caps on, they tend to be decent, but there's almost always a light leak that will come and bite you in the backside when taking darks with it all attached to your scope. Corrine, good to hear you, mate. I hope you're having a lovely day. Yeah, Logan. It's I asked how she was doing, and she's absolutely fine. He thinks he got it too, but he practically asymptomatic. Chris says, I hope your good lady's starting to feel better. Yeah, I think she is a little bit, mate. She's just actually asleep on the observatory couch right now. She's got the puppy drop on my remote PC. This doesn't usually happen. Oh well, all we can do is hope for the best, eh? It seems to have picked back up now. What's your rig tonight? Ian Barker asks. So I'm using a Celestron Rasa 11, Player 1 Poseidon C Pro, and an IDAS LPS D2 filter. So a pretty, you know, broad use light pollution filter. Bode MK suggests the cat's eye. That's also a nice suggestion, mate. For some reason, it seems like we can't. There we go. Just as I was saying, it seems like we can't open up SharpCap. It opens up, of course. Now, I know someone mentioned I should update SharpCap, and I think I'll do that too. Why not? Because I would rather cool the sensor and help get rid of some of these hot pixels. I did notice, by the way, that SharpCap has now added a hot pixel removal method just in its tags. Interesting to see. Maybe we can try that out too along the line. So I'm going to call this a completed image now, and we can disconnect, slew away over to the Tulip, I think was most voted for next. Jack also asks if we're thinking galaxies, we could also do M81, M82. Yeah, why not, mate? Rosine suggests Pelican and North America. Yeah, absolutely, mate. We can 100% hit them up. Andy says, sorry to hear Chloe's unwell, wish her better from us. I will do, mate. I absolutely will do that. As soon as she's awake, I will let her know that there's good vibes coming her way. So that's what we got from 16 minutes. I will save that as a stack, and I think we'll take one exactly as seen as well. Why not? So someone mentioned I can update SharpCap to the latest beta version and get cooling controls back. So let's take a little look. I guess we should do this, shouldn't we, rather than mocking around. 4.1 beta can be found here. Good stuff. Alright. Latest version. We'll go with the 64-bit installer. Shouldn't take too long. Sorry if I'm missing anybody's messages in chat, by the way, guys. Genuinely. Been having that dropout issue tonight. SharpCap crashing as well. No. That's rough, Dave. Rosine asks, still using the EQ8R. N sends good wishes for Chloe as well. Thank you very much, mate. That's kind of you. I am still using the EQ8 Pro. I didn't quite have the money to opt for getting an R, one of the newer versions, but I got an end-of-line Pro, effectively, just in used condition. And it's been a great mount, mate. Can't complain. It's absolutely no way something that I'd entertain ever again for a portable rig, as it's just too bloody massive. But for an observatory like this, it's absolutely perfect. Can't say anything bad about it at all, mate. Hot pixel removal option works really well, Green Cat says. Good to know. Corrine with some nice pleasant wishes for Chloe as well. Thank you. I will absolutely let her know, by the way. 4.1 works with cooling. Fantastic, mate. Good to know. I'll get that set up for us as quick as possible. Minimum amount of downtime. Don't want to be wasting your guys' evenings. And then we're off to the Crescent, I do believe. Not the Crescent. What am I talking about? The Tulip. Close down that old version of SharpCap. Reconnect up with Nina for a moment. And we're going to use Nina for plate solving to the target. Maybe I'll run a autofocus as well, I think, before we actually get going this time. Let's allow access. That's all good. Good stuff. Alright, so over onto Nina. The Poseidon needs connecting. And I think people said the tulip. So, tulip. See if it can pick it up from that, or do I need an NGC designation for that target? Tulip Nebula. NGC 6871 or Sharpless 101. SH 101. Doesn't seem to be popping up on that. So we'll go NGC 6871. Sorry, but this is a bit of a little bit of a mess. SharpCap crashing is usually janky connection. I think my USB is not too bad. Ah, there it is. Yeah, tulip, nice one. I'll move it across, and I think if we aim to get the tulip round about there, and some of this background nebulosity should start to become visible. If you guys think that looks like reasonable framing. Slew and center. Observatory name from Logan. Luke's Skystock. Oh, come on, man. Marco, hello there, mate. Thanks for joining in. David says, thank you for the replies. My pleasure, mate. I only wish that I could keep up with chat slightly more efficiently. I'm terrible at it at this point, but I imagine I'll just get a little bit better at it. Melee quieter to Mark. Is that what you're using, mate? Yeah. We've actually got one of those melee quieters. Really nice little PC. I'm actually imaging tonight with Chloe's rig as well, the Quattro and stuff. She's gathering some more data, but it's a little bit polluted by the moonlight. Kind of like Logan's Astro Obsy name suggestion. Yeah. What were it again? It's Luke's Skystalker. The amount of times I had people saying to me, Luke, I am your father, while I'm growing up. An SH2 object green cat. Yeah, I think I was just making a mess of finding the tulip there, but looks like we're on the ball now. Keith, good to have you, mate. Thanks for joining in. Would you care to share your plugins you are using with Nina? And you've got your B-Link PC. Congrats on that, by the way. The plugins I'm using on Nina, I will take a look at that for you in just a second, mate. Yeah. As soon as I've got done with this plate solve. I'll try and help out tech questions too, to help Luke out. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Central Valley Astro, good to have you. Should I get the 2600mm or the 6200mm? You have a 666mm number of the beast refractor. That really does depend on your budget, which I guess if you're entertaining the idea of a 6200mm, it stretches to it. But also the imaging circle size of your telescope and any future telescopes that you're planning on purchasing within the lifespan of that camera, mate. Not that many cameras can really effectively, not that many telescopes can really effectively make use of a full frame camera, I would say. So the 2600 could be a better value proposition. Another one, another vote for Logan's observatory name. Marco says, Luke, I tried live stacking with SharpCap, folder monitor camera. I take my images on ASIR, connected through the network, and all was good. Superb. Some images had a box-shaped light at the bottom. Any ideas? I actually don't know about that one, mate. It could be some sort of readout error, perhaps. I think we'll run through one autofocus real quick before I actually go ahead and start live stacking this. Interestingly, we can see the tulip already, just on one of those plate solve exposures right there, 10 seconds long. Christy Gart says the look glow obs. Yeah. Honestly, mate, I'll tell you, Chris, me and Chloe spend half of our lives in this place. At this point, it's such a nice place to be. Dave Kemp, nice to see a few magnets, a few cloud magneteers. Yeah, lovely to have everybody in. Rocket City Astro, hello there, mate. Astro Duck, hello to you too. Got to go for now. Enjoy the evening. Thanks very much for jumping in and spending a bit of time with us, D-Fresh. Enjoy it, mate. Marco, when I downloaded the images, no box-shaped thing was visible. Any ideas? Honestly, I'm a bit stumped on that one. Without actually looking at them myself and trying to fault find live, it's a bit of a tough one. That. Sorry about that, Marco. Glad to hear you had a bit of clear good nights in London there, Corinne. Rosine, if you're ever up in York, absolutely, mate. Yeah, just drop me a line whenever you want, bud. And I'll be more than happy to show you around it. I say show you around like it's a mansion tour. It's like 22 foot long, so it's not exactly that big. I'm not going to be ending up on MTV Cribs anytime soon. You would image, but your mount is broken, Astroduck. Oh, no. Sorry about that, mate. I hope you get it sorted soon. Let's take a little look. Sorry, I think I'm catching up a little bit now on chat. How do, Luke? How do, 22 Vidinfra? Good to have you back, mate. You're back at it with M81 again tonight. You got set up last night and cloud came over after 30 minutes. Ugh. Yeah, that's awful, mate. We've all been there, though, eh? Absolutely horrendous. For anybody just joining, wondering what the heck is going on, I realise I've got the wrong name on my stream, so I'll have to change that. EAA Astronomy live stream. I can try and edit that in a minute. But yeah, basically we're looking around different parts of the sky and taking some short images of them up to about 10 to 15 minutes or so, then sweeping away and starting another image. So right now we're just taking some focus exposures, get everything as crisp as it can be, and then we're going to start taking some images and a little live stack of the Tulip Nebula. Rosine says, you agree with Luke, 6200 is all good, but full frame will be very unwieldy and massive file sizes. Yeah, that's a good point too. It will limit your scopes, yeah. Yeah, I guess one other issue to consider with that 6200 as well is, I mean, sorting out tilt on, let's say, an APS-C sized sensor it can be a little bit tricky, but it's perfectly doable. But across a full frame, it can be a real head scratcher, proper nightmare fuel. So I don't know, just consider whether you're ready for that kind of frustration. Basically, add into your life. I'd give it a skip any day of the week personally. I do like the idea of full frame cameras, but if I were buying one myself, I'd just stick to APS-C or smaller. Astro Lux, good evening to you too, mate. Richard Dowding. Good flats are much important for full frame cameras, yeah. Cropped frame is more forgiving, that's true. That's true. Alan, it's wicked. You can tell me from... Yeah, you have been, haven't you, mate? Yeah. That were a lovely day, that. Looks like autofocus is finished, guys. So, yeah. Let's disconnect the camera from here. Get it connected back up in SharpCap. Just check that my guiding's looking reasonable. Yeah, it'll do. And I think we've got some target temperature now. Fantastic. Thanks very much to anybody who it was. I'm sorry I forgot who mentioned it, but yeah, you've solved my issues there with the cooler. Good stuff. I'll apply a little bit of window heater power so we don't get any frost or anything. And it looks good. Let's click a live stack and get going. Astro Lux, you're waiting for your Aries C to start shipping, hopefully tomorrow. Wow, mate, congratulations. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Two Rivers Observatory asks, can you show your autofocus setup in Nina? Yes, and someone asked to see my Nina plugins as well. So plugins, I have Hocus Focus and 3-point polar alignment. That's all the plugins that I use, nothing else. Seems to work well for me. Admittedly, I don't really get too much use out of 3-point polar alignment because with it being on a pier, I do check it occasionally, but it just hasn't moved in 5 months or so since I actually last had to polar align. Mental. And you asked about seeing my autofocus setup. So I'll just show you the settings that I use. So bear in mind, my step sizes are huge, and that's because I'm using it on this Celestron Raster 11, which needs massive focus step sizes to work. It looks like you'd be moving your focuser a ton with a step of 400, and you usually would. But on the Raster, it's really not that much, as you probably saw on those V-curves getting generated there. Right, let's take a little look at these first exposure. So 1 minute in. Let's see what we're dealing with. Stars look a little bit sharper now. Yeah, so that's 1 minute on the Tulip. Rasters, man. 2 minutes now. David O'Flanagan asks, can you set an autofocus profile for each filter in Nina? I don't actually know that, to be honest, David. I tend to just go with whichever one was the most difficult filter to focus and use those parameters for everything. That's my way of doing it. Pete Croft asks, did you move your Esprit 120 on? I did, mate. It's got a new home, and I'm very happy about that, actually. It just wasn't seeing the use that a scope of that caliber deserves, to be honest. So I've sold it on to a very nice chap who actually lives pretty local. And yeah, he's really enjoying himself with it, so that's fantastic. Andrew Bennett, it's all yours and Glenn's fault. I'm sorry, mate. I really am sorry. Vidinfra asks, is that vignetting in the middle of the image? Sometimes get that green looking blob in the middle too when shooting on my fast lens. If you were talking about the Nina screen, it's a very faint, even though it looks strong on those stretched images, it's a very faint effect going on inside my Raster's optical train, where I think there's one reflective element that's brightening up a part of the image. When you actually measure the difference, though, on a subframe, it's like 50 ADUs brighter than the rest of the frame. It's very strange. Will Owen, anybody here ever stuck a 200 PDS on an EQ5? I can use an AVX, but just wondered whether anyone has used that combo. I used to have an EQ5. Probably would handle a 200 PDS just for some short exposure stuff, I would imagine, mate. Astrophotography, I do believe the 200 PDS will be pushing it. Yeah, it will be right up to its limit. That's totally fair to say. Agreed. Raphael, cheers. Hey, thank you very much for joining in, mate. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Rose, you've got to go soon. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. It's been really nice to have you, though, and chat with you for a bit. Have a nice little catch-up. Wombat, what are you using as the PC to control the rig outside, i.e. the one that you're connecting to? So the rig in the observatory is a B-Link U59 mini PC with an Intel N5195, something like that, processor. So it is not a fast rig. That's what we're running SharpCap and stuff on right now. But as you can see, it does the job. You know what I mean? It certainly does the job. Will Owen says, I thought it would be pushing the limits. Yeah, it is pushing the limits, mate. It might be just doable, but you know. Why is your R2 threshold too low? 0.7. I am not sure what you're asking there, Antonio. Sorry. I'd be happy to try and answer if you can offer a little bit of clarification. Filter offsets in Nina. Yeah, you can. You're right, Dave. Yeah, a lot of people mentioning it's going to be right on the upper limit of an EQ5. Central Valley Astro, did you have tilt issues with your Rasa 8? I can't figure it out. About to sell it. Oh no, mate. I'm sorry to hear it's been frustrating you that much. Yes, I did. I had tilt that was not visible on other telescopes on my camera sensor, but just a very small amount is enough to cause havoc on a Rasa. So yeah, I corrected it all out because with the type of camera that I'm using from Player One, it's got a rearwards facing tilt adapter, which makes adjusting things like that honestly a joke. It's really easy. I know it's not like that for everybody though, so advice like that has a limited usefulness, I'm sorry to say. Was good, mate. I'll drop you a message, I'll give you a call sometimes. Hey, look forward to it, Roz. I hope you have a lovely evening, mate. Thanks very much for coming and spending some of it with me. I appreciate that. Will Owen, Wombat, Andy and Rose. Thanks, yeah. Hey, no problem, mate. No problem. Rocket City Astro. You have a B-Link with an AMD 12 core and 32 gigs of RAM. That would have been much more suitable, mate. Yeah. I wish at the time when I bought this little imaging PC, I mean, it's been great, don't get me wrong, but I do kind of wish I'd just bought one with a little bit more power. Would have been useful. Wombat says, can you link the mini PC description in the live stream description? Be trying to figure out what to get. So if you want to find out the exact one, Wombat, I think there's probably a newer version out now, but on my channel I have a video called my new mini PC for imaging, and I think it's just a silly looking thumbnail of me looking quizzical at a mini PC. And it's just that one, mate. It's that same one. If you had the Backyard Universe secondary holder and mirror mask, it becomes a killer rig and will hold collimation all day long. Is it possible to connect the Star Adventurer to Nina? Ooh, good question, AstroDuck. I don't know actually, mate, if it supports kind of non-full go-to mounts. That's just a Star Tracker if I'm not mistaken. Raphael asks, did you keep the Player One with IMX585? Did indeed. It's just in a drawer right next to me here. Considering an alternative for planetary nebulae and other small targets when your IMX294 lacks image scale. That's a good plan, mate. And no, I kept mine. And look, there's some more super secret cameras coming very soon, so it might be worth keeping your eye out for one of those, Raphael. That would be my advice. Night, Rosine. Sorry if I've missed you there, buddy. Thanks for joining in. Corrine got to go too. Hey, thanks very much as well, mate. I look forward to catching up with you soon, buddy. Have a good day. Andy, yeah, I agree, mate. I mean, I hope Ruz takes all the time he needs because he's a pillar of the UK Astro community, you know what I mean? Not the same without him. I know that his videos got me going, that's for sure. Back when I was just thinking about starting with YouTube astronomy and that kind of thing. Yeah. Inspirational stuff. Night Astro Boot, mate, if you've got to go. Enrique asks, what Nina version do you have? Good question. I will double check for you, mate. 2.2. I don't know if there's any extra, added on to the end of that, but 2.2 is what it looks to be set to right now, mate. We'll just have SharpCap open once again. So we're currently at 9 minutes of integration on the Tulip. Let's zoom in and take a little bit of a look at the Tulip itself, eh? See what you guys think. Seeing is not very good tonight, that's for sure. Good night, Corona and AB. There are videos on YouTube how to connect to StarAdventurer to Nina. That's very useful info. Thank you, Stan, for helping that person out. Appreciate it, mate. Excuse the typo, Corin. Yeah, I did wonder. Dave Kemp says, my first Astro video I viewed was Rose's full colour moon many years ago. Got me hooked. That's superb, mate. Love Rose's monthly target list. Yeah, they're good. Would the 150 be your first scope? 150 PDS or something? Is that what you mean, Andy? Because, yeah, oh, blimey. I just... Chris. Crikey, mate. Thank you very much indeed for that. You are too kind, mate. You are too kind. I don't really know what to say. Thank you. And welcome aboard, by the way. Everybody who's just joined. C Fox, looking forward to the secret cameras. Yeah. Aha. Player 1 variant of the 2.4 micron chip is your hope. You'll have to wait and see. I wish I could say more, but I can't. I promised I'd keep it quiet, so I'd be breaking a promise. Will Owen, need more Astro vids. Love a good Luca Matico vid, thank you. Love a good Rose vid, me too. Me too. Brody's suggesting the Western Veil Nebula next. Do we have any more suggestions, by the way, guys, for things you might like to see imaged next? We're all in focus and ready to go, so it's just a case of slewing away and finding the next target, really. I'm pretty pleased, by the way, with how this has turned out, given that this is not really a narrow filter. It's just a standard light pollution filter. We're seeing a ton of detail. Excuse me. No problem, just pulling your leg, yeah. Wizard, good suggestion. See, thank you for the clarification there, Andy. Yeah, 150p. Ooh, first scope, that would be a, yeah, I see why you're asking now. A newt as your first scope could be a, I don't know, a bit of a troublesome proposition. Jack Maynard says he loves the star colours on this image. Thank you, mate. You know what, I'd not really paid too much attention. Let's take another look. Yeah, there's a lot of colour preserved in those stars, that's for sure. Absolute rainfall of little red stars as well showing up on this thing. I assume that must just be how this filter's acting tonight, but it does look cool. Let's try and adjust the histogram a little bit while we decide what we're going to shoot next, guys. Let's see. Ian Barker. Oh, you got to go. Sorry, mate. Sorry if I've missed you. Thanks very much for joining in. Appreciate it. Ed Jones says, not as cloudy this evening as you expected, but too late to set up. So you're enjoying watching me. Well, I'm more than happy to be spending my evening with you, mate. Thank you for joining in, Ed. Keith M. Bode's Galaxy after your late puppy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Well, Keith, you've touched my heart, mate. We're gonna shoot Bodes then for a few minutes. Let's take a little look at that. Why not? M81, eh? We'll definitely hit up the other targets as well, by the way, guys. I'm in no rush tonight, and it's just fun spending an evening with you, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. Looks like there's just the faintest hint, I don't know if this is coming across for you guys on the live stream, of some kind of whitish nebula region just above that star right there. Pretty cool to see, especially given that this is just 14 minutes. What else did we see? Propeller Nebula from Alan suggested. So many good suggestions. Wow. Yeah, I think we'll hit Bode for Keith in memory of his late pup. Central Valley Astro asks, do you have any A-pods or hope to get one? I'm not really that fussed with the competition side of things. I've submitted a couple of images, but just for the sake of it, really. It's not like I try and actively seek out anything like that. Maybe one day though, I'll try and do a 100-hour image or something and get something really special. But for me, it tends to be just the act of engaging with you guys on YouTube and now on live streams and things. That's been a lot of fun. But connecting with nature through astronomy, I don't know, it's really healthy, it feels like to me. Get a lot out of it. Right, so we're going to go on M81. I'll just save this now, and we'll jump away and shoot that target. I'll save as scene as well, why not? Close down that live stack. Disconnect my camera for a second. And let's use Nina for plate solving. So M81. Marsha Wilcox. Thank you for joining in, Marsha. Speaking of the veil, does anybody know why the red and blue using a one-shot colour usually seem like they aren't registered? It's on most of the images I've seen, not particular to one camera and scope combination. Is that images that you've seen online, Martha, or on your own actual gear that you've been noticing that effect? We may as well get both, eh? M81 and M82. Why not? Wombat says to Andy, very good learning curve with the reflector. Can't be lazy with collimation, which teaches you about the image train. That's true. That's true. I can imagine a bad reflector, though. The kind of rough start like Queeves just recently had with that Quattro 150p, I think, that he bought, which is now a very good scope, but initially was a nightmare out of the box. Could really put someone off who's just getting going, kind of thing. Some thanks for Chris. Well deserved. Yeah, thank you again, Chris, mate. You're an absolute legend, mate. Appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Tempted to save for one, but you already have a 130 PDS. I can't talk. A 130 PDS, all flocked and jazzed up. Ooh, that's a potent scope, Dave. Very much. Add the Backyard Universe secondary holder, yeah. Is that one of the cast pieces? Solid cast unit? Marsha says yes, online images. Interesting. I've not really seen too many of the issues that you're talking about, but if you mean kind of a split in the stars between the colours when shot with one-shot colour, it could be that the scopes that they've taken their images on have some degree of chromatic aberration, which is meaning that the light's focusing at slightly different focal points. So oftentimes you'll see perhaps a blue fringe to the star on one side and a red fringe on the other is how it sometimes manifests, especially when using quite tight dual narrowband filters and that kind of thing that you'd commonly find when shooting a supernova remnant like that target. Wombat says, I recommend flocking your scopes, folks. It does improve contrast. Yeah, 100% agree, actually, Wombat. Where possible, it's a lovely upgrade that you can make. I bought some really nice flocking just recently from First Light Optics called Protostar. I think it's rated to block 99% of visible spectrum light, and I think about 98% of off-band ultraviolet infrared spectrum light too, so it cuts down even on reflections that are not visible to us when we're trying to chase them down. Have you ever shot NGC 1491? I'll have to check what that target is, actually, Stan. NGC 1491. Yes, I believe I have. Maybe we could try and hit that if it's high enough right now. I believe I have, anyway. Andy says that's why I asked Enrique if it would be his first scope. Yeah, it's his third, so the new may be a great shout. Yeah, 100% agree, Andy. 100% agree, mate. CG Fraser, really liking this live stream thing. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Good addition to your channel, and you're keeping me company while I image the Cygnus wall. Oh, mate, that is one of my favourite targets of all time. I hope you're having a lovely session there, mate. Marsha says thank you. I hope that was a reasonable explanation for you, Marsha. Yeah. Sometimes, like I say, you do see colours getting split up just ever so slightly on scopes with a touch of CA, as we call it. Looks like we're all plate solved now, so going to shoot this target now for a little bit, and then we'll jump on to the next one. So let's disconnect the camera from here, reconnect back up in SharpCap. Cooler's set to go already, that's good to see. And I think we'll go with them same 60-second exposures. Seems like they've been working wonderfully so far, so why change it? Dave Kemp says, flocking and blacking the mirror edges and the focus draw tube all help with contrast and stray reflections. Yep, absolutely agree, mate. Another common issue with Newtonians, especially from Skywatcher, that I have noted, is that the secondary mirror itself, the edges of the mirror, can sometimes have a little bit of bleed on the silvering, so it goes up the sides a little bit, and it can be best to mask that out or paint over the top of it entirely, actually, at times. Otherwise you can get some really strange reflections happening. Fox says the Ghost Nebula could be an interesting capture. Ooh. Or should I say ooh? Sorry, absolute dad level jokes at the minute, mate. Backyard Universe makes a CNC secondary holder. Yeah, I've seen those, mate, on First Light Optics, I think. Nice looking bit of kit. Let's get some colour balance going on if we can. Wow. So, what we got here? Not looking too bad for 60 seconds. Colour balance is a little bit squiffy, I'd say, though. Not really doing a nice job, this, is it? We'll take a look at Bode's itself as requested. You know, I want to make sure I've got the right filter in here. Enrique, you've had an 8-inch Schmidt gas grain and you still have an Explore Scientific 8TED and you're working on. Good stuff. Crimson Drums, hey, good to see you again, mate. Thanks for joining in. Good to see you live streaming again. Thank you. First Light stock the parts in the UK and Black 3.0 paint. I've yet to try anything like that, Andy. I'll check this filter situation. Yeah, I've definitely got the right filter in. Oh well. By the look of these galaxies, you know, I half expected to check my filter drawer then and discover I'd made a mistake, but seems to be the right one. Is that Moonlight Wash? It is indeed, mate. Yeah, it's what's the illumination for tonight? About 60% or something like that, maybe a little bit more. NGC 1491. Have a look. Yeah, I just took a look just on my second monitor a second. Nice target. I do believe I have shot that. It never made it into a video. But yeah, the fossil footprint. Click reset on the histogram and rebalance as the new subs come in. Yeah, go on then. We'll reset and recolor balance as well. Take a little peek. Seems like we do definitely have a kind of a strong red cast going across the image. Bit strange, but all the same, we are just having some fun, aren't we? So it doesn't really matter. Oh, sorry, I missed your message there as well, Andy. At Enrique, if you've had an SCT before, yeah, then a new will be no problem. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always found, personally, SCT is pretty easy to collimate. I found newts harder, but I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority in that one. Let's take a little bit of a closer look now at these two galaxies. Now we've got 4 whole minutes of integration. Not exactly much, is it? But still, you can really make it out there. Sorry if I'm missing anything here on chat. So Keith, of course, this one is for you, mate. We'll stick on this for, I don't know, 10 minutes, something like that. If you guys are happy with that, and then we'll move on to whatever's getting suggested next. Is audio and everything coming across okay for you guys tonight, by the way, or any adjustments need making? Bode would be proud. Oh, mate, that's lovely. Well, I'm very sorry to hear about the loss of your dog, by the way. I know what that's like, mate. Not very nice at all. They absolutely become family members, don't they? Just been out with your scope, says Crimson Drums. Skywatcher 72 ED and the Uranus C. What a combo. Just doing some moon captures, and you're watching my live stream now. Thank you, mate. Hey, it really is nice to be able to share my evening with you guys. And if you're getting some fun out of it too, then that is absolutely perfect. Loud and clear, audio fine, audio, that's perfect. Yeah, I do worry sometimes that there's no way for me to like actively monitor it and hear myself back. So really appreciate that feedback. We should do the Whirlpool Galaxy next, says AstroDuck. Yeah, why not? More all goods on the audio, thank you. Really good to know. I'll stop worrying about that now. Andy says, Luke, depends if the SCT has a hyperstar on it. Yeah, well, that is a complication, mate. Absolutely. Trick with RSTAP saved you hours on your Edge HD and your V4 hyperstar. Nice. That's good to hear, mate. That's good to hear. Wombat says, my 8-inch newt takes me less than a minute to collimate for a session. Gets done just before attaching the camera body. Once you wrap your head around it, it's and have the right tools, it's very easy. Yeah, I would agree with that, mate. And the Farpoint laser collimator, highly recommend. Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I think for me, it's the issue of at least the experience that I had when first getting used to collimating Newtonians, was that one that's significantly out of collimation can sometimes be extremely confusing for someone who's just beginning out to get back into collimation because of the amount of possible errors that can be introduced just on the secondary mirror, let's say. I mean, once you've got it pretty close in terms of rotation and elevation and centering, should I say, as well, on your spider vanes, then all you've really got to worry about is tip and tilt using your 3 screws. But if you've bought one and it's out by a mile from factory, then you've got a fight on your hands. That's for sure. But yeah, like Wombat says, I mean, once you knew it's basically 95% of the way there, it is just touch-ups and it's dead easy. That Bode is a 3-minute sub. These are just 1-minute sub exposures, Enrique. Yeah, it's looking reasonable. Color balance is really not what I was expecting tonight. Not usually what I'd see either from this filter. So I'm wondering if I'm getting some degree of bandpass shift while I'm using it on this Rasa, perhaps. Seafox says, just running a bunch of auto stacker stacks on a Luna mosaic set at the moment. Nice. So nice to see something else on the screen at the same time. Cheers. My pleasure, mate. Thank you. I'll tell you what, I really would like to get into Luna photography at some point. It's just, it's a whole new ball game once again, isn't it? I have just sold my Schmidt Cassegrain as well because it just wasn't seeing much use. Ed Jones, you have Glenn's old Richie Chrétien. Dreading comment in it. There are some really good RC-centric tools you can buy now, Ed. If it's something that's like giving you sleepless nights, mate. I think the TS RC Collie is what one of them's called. It's a little illuminated faceplate style collimator, and they're meant to do a very good job. Luca, hello to you too, mate. Hope you're having a lovely evening. Thanks for coming and spending some of your day with me. Andrew, seconded on Farpoint kit. An OCal is a great alternative and also helps with all the things Luke just mentioned. Absolutely, yeah, 100% true. In fact, I mean, on the note of the Farpoint kit, if I can dig it out, I ended up with this one, the one that's got the laser and a Cheshire. I don't know if you can see that, guys, on stream, but I'm doing my best. But yeah, that's a lovely little kit, and yeah, accurate tools, which is all they are really, isn't it? Just tools, but it's nice to own some good ones. Rasa working its magic as usual. Yeah, it's not doing bad. Let's take a look at just stretching this a touch more before we go off this target, I guess. We can definitely see a lot of strong nebulous regions in these spiral arms. If we take a little bit of a look now at M82, that starburst galaxy right there, that's I imagine, you know, with a few hours of integration that'd come out really rather well. But I think if I was shooting this for real, looking at how this filter behaves and this weird cast we're seeing, I'm probably not going to use it again on this kind of thing. Feel like lesson learned on that one. Oh well. Can you live stack in SharpCap with flats and darks? Isaac asks. So I am currently using some flats that I took right at the start of this session, Isaac. So that shouldn't be what we're seeing, luckily. I think we're more seeing kind of a moon glow gradient going across the image, weirdly. Which is also seemingly throwing off the colour cast over to one side. I've just noticed down in the bottom left, I think I saw a really neat little galaxy I'd like to take a look at. Wow. It's a pair, actually. 2 right there. Don't know if they're coming up on the live stream for you guys. Looks like a face on spiral and then an almost edge on. Popping up in just 12 minutes of exposure. That's awesome, given the amount of moonlight we're dealing with and light pollution. Yeah, safe to say it's working. So the next suggestion, I think, someone mentioned M51. I guess if we shoot that, since it's nearby, and then we'll go back to shooting Nebula targets, as they'll be getting just that slight bit higher in the sky every minute that we delay, so we'll end up with a better image overall. No problem, Ed, by the way, on that. Just wondering if you have the gain up on the Poseidon, or is it at 0? The gain is at 250, mate. That's what I've got it set to tonight. 200 offset. I don't know if you can make that out on the stream. And 60-second exposures through an IDAS LPS D2. Alan, I've yet to image with your RCA, but from the looks of it, mine is pretty much spot on. The moon is surprisingly sharp for a scope designed for imaging. Yeah, a lot of people say, don't bother with planets and lunar and stuff due to the size of that secondary obstruction. But, if it works, it works. Bode suggests the Western Veil. Yeah, I definitely want to hit that one up, Bode, for sure. I'll just let this get to 15 minutes for our friend's dear departed dog. Yeah, this goes out to you, Bode, wherever you are now, mate. Nah, what a lovely target that is. We can just start to see some of that dust lane detail now, disappearing right into that core. Lovely to see. Stan says there was another galaxy at about 6 o'clock as well. I missed that one. Luca says, Luke, great content on your channel. Any thoughts on the Antlia Tri-Band RGB Ultra? I haven't actually, mate. No, I if I commented on it, I'd just be, pulling facts out of thin air and opinions as well. So it's best to refrain, I think. I know that some of my friends have had some good luck with it, though, mate. But me personally, I can't really comment on that one yet. Andrew Bennett. Could take a quick look at a globular cluster, depending on what filter you have in. Yeah, we could look at it, mate. It's just like, say, the LPS D2, so most things should show up well, but nothing exceptionally. You know what I mean? All right, so we'll call that target done. I think it was mentioned a little shot on M51. Might be a good choice, so we'll take a look at that, and then we're going to go over to the Veil Nebula as well. So let's reconnect things up. Poseidon M51. Let's go ahead and slew to that. Andrew says, in response to Luca's question about the Antlia Tri-Band RGB Ultra, you've just got one and your initial thoughts are it's amazing all-round one-shot color filter. That's good to hear. It's replaced your L Pro in bottle hate. Luca says, I have the L Pro as well, but I'm not quite happy with it. Yeah, I found that same thing, mate. I bought an L Pro a few years back, and I actually just found I was getting better images without, to be honest. But I do image from maybe slightly better skies. Not amazing, though. I'm in bottle 7. But yeah, for what it cost, like that barrier to entry, I didn't think it was worth it, personally. Colours are much more balanced and no halos. Well, that is good news, Andrew. I mean, for me, it could actually be a good choice of filter. I do like imaging both galaxies, of course, as you're supposed to image them in broadband, but Nebula too. I like seeing them as they would appear if we had super eyes in nature. Looks like we're done plate solving now. It fixes these nights that you can't shoot UV-IR cut here in London. Brodie says you'll be RB. No worries, mate. Enjoy yourself. think I'm going to need to have a shower after this, mate. I'm currently sat here just roasting. It's 26.4 degrees right now. It's hot in the observatory, but absolutely freezing outside. Going to replace it with the RGB Ultra. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, thanks for the info you're offering there, Andy. Useful, mate. Guess we're done on this. So if it's picked itself a guide star, let's jump back over. Whoops, did forget to disconnect the camera though. After this target, we will go back to some Nebula, and I'll also maybe trigger an autofocus too. So we're really chasing it down and getting the best shots that we can from the evening. I hope I didn't forget to save that shot of M81, M82. It would have been interesting to see if I could have corrected the colours on that one after the fact. Westlake, good to see you, mate. I am doing wonderful. How are you, if you don't mind me asking? Linux Astro also prefers colour to monochrome. Yeah. 100%, mate. Still have a hard time getting Nina to work for you, says Andrew. What particular issues are you facing, Andrew? Anything that maybe, I mean, if I can't help, I've got plenty of knowledgeable people hanging around in chat here as well, mate, who might be willing to chime in with a little bit of info for you. Another one for the Antlier Triband, saying it's a really good one, no halos. Seeing that very strange red cast once again. See if we can get some sort of colour balance going on. See, this one looks a little bit less dramatically colour casted. So this is the first 60-second exposure on M51. Let's zoom in a little bit, eh? I really do think we'd potentially be seeing more than this with just a UV IR cut. Something strange is going on with this filter. I had to put on full winter gear on the clearest night, the 25th. No obsy, old school. That's the way, mate. Westlake says, I need a mini fridge in the observatory. Mate, you're not kidding. That's a good idea. If I had some more room, that would be... I'm just looking around now where I could fit one. That would be the first thing I'd buy. I'd love a little mini fridge. I think it seems to be one of those things that every man cave really needs to have. L Pro pushes red too much, in my opinion. Well, as far as I know, the RGB Ultra is more balanced. Good to know. Yeah, I was finding myself, Luca, that the L Pro, just in general, I don't know, from my location, Bottle 7, it just seemed like it was a net loss, regardless of whatever target that I shot. Which sucked, because at the time I didn't have very much money at all. Still don't, but good to see some things never change. But yeah, it cost me a fair bit of cash, and I felt a little bit stung after that purchase. It does help much better with the blues. Good to hear that. Bulbal, good to see you, mate. Last time I checked, the Canon SL3 was not supported in Nina. I still use APT. APT. Fantastic. You know, I really like that software. I haven't used it in a while, admittedly. But I really did enjoy it. I cut my teeth on that. Developer's a lovely guy as well. I met him at an astronomy show a little while back. I had the opportunity to meet him and his wife and have a little chat for a few minutes and stuff. Just really nice people, you know what I mean? Wombat Zone and an air fryer in the observatory. Sandwich maker too. Yeah. You know what? Next time I'm making an observatory one, but I'm going to get you on board as chief advisor, mate. I'm liking these suggestions. Andrew, everything from connecting up, right, to taking more than one locating image and getting the ASTAP to locate the spot on the sky. So you're having trouble with a lot of different things there, I reckon, mate. Yeah, that's going to be a whole case of stuff to unpack, I reckon. WatchTube, hello there, mate. My day has been all in really good. I hope that yours has been too, mate, if you don't mind me asking. Andy says, at Luke, the reason none of us have any money in this hobby, yeah. It really sucks though, don't it, mate? I mean, that filter was promising the world and then delivered none of it, so just sucked. Do you think the James Webb Telescope will photograph the supernova? I would imagine so. Yeah, it's a significant enough event that it seems to have decent scientific value, perhaps due to its proximity. It's one of the closest, I think the closest supernova in the last decade. So now that we have this new telescope up there, it might be worth some observational, time spent on it. I think they've already pointed Hubble towards it, by the way. Crimson Drums. I am thinking of getting the Optilong L Extreme. How does it compare to the Pro? Two different things, really, I'd say, mate. I mean, the L Pro is aimed at kind of broadband imaging and things. It's a bit of a jack of all trades, if I could talk. But the L Extreme is much more nebula focused, and at that it needs to be emission nebula, supernova remnants, planetary nebula, that kind of thing that's predominantly just emitting light along the wavelengths of hydrogen and oxygen. I am sorry if I've misinterpreted what you're asking there, by the way, Crimson Drums. Some good suggestions there from Wombat to help with Andrew. It's been good. He tried to photograph the Milky Way. Glad to hear you've had a good day, mate. But too much light pollution, and you didn't get up late enough, and the trees were blocking it. Man, everything played against you there. Yeah. I've tried photographing the Milky Way from home here at Ball 7 Skies. Didn't go well. No amount of exposures going to beat that one. Alan says, with ASTAP you need to download the correct star catalogue for your focal length. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think on that note, I've only ever gone with the truncated catalogue. I never bothered downloading the extended one myself. I always found that it still just solved things fine. Right up to 1500 mil of focal length was a lot of my imaging was getting done at. I think this coffee's gone to my head. My brain's working faster than my mouth can. WatchTube says, if I'm correct, it's the closest supernova since 31 years ago. Wow. That's crazy. Whirlpool Galaxy's starting to blossom, says Linux. Yeah, it's coming through, isn't it, mate? We can see some, definitely some nebulous structure in those spiral arms appearing now. None of the faint outer wisps, though. They seem to be very much suppressed in this image for some reason. You managed to photograph it in a 4.5 ball with a 15-second exposure. Yeah, 20 15-second exposures. If you could see it in one 15-second exposure, you're going to have a much better time with the stacked shot for sure. Some more good info there for Andrew. Really nice to see you guys jumping in and helping out, by the way. Thank you very much indeed for that. Yeah, as Wombat's just said, love this community. Such a wealth of info. It's very pleasant. Ascom platform needs to be the latest version as well. Yeah. Now you're mentioning all this stuff, guys. I'm remembering why I used to like SIS so much. Oh, man. That said, I don't really think I could go back to that full time now. I enjoy using my current gear too much. Ed Jones asks, are you getting full Astro Dark at this time of the year? Unfortunately not, Ed. We don't get any true Astro Dark at this time of the year. I'll just pop it over onto Nina for you a second. So the framing wizard should show you, if you look in the bottom left, that bar is just showing that we're reaching astronomical twilight rather than astronomical darkness. It's gone now for probably another month and a half, 2 months or so before we start to see even a little sliver of that black bar of astronomical darkness appear once again. It goes for a while here, you know. We're at 54 degrees north. Seafox says, been experimenting shooting mono on a 533, but using a tri-band filter with the shorter hemisphere nights in bottle 8 and 9. Yeah, that absolutely is an interesting experiment, mate. Alan asking, have you tried landscape astrophotography? I haven't, mate, to be honest. No, I've done very little of it. I started out doing a little bit of it before I actually got a telescope. But honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. This was a long time ago, and the results were disastrous. Nabi asks, what's the ambient temperature at your location to warrant -10 for the camera? Good question. I'll see what my focuser is reporting. So, equipment, focuser. This has to be wrong. It's reporting 18.45 degrees ambient. You've piqued my interest, Nabi. I'm going to go look at the observatory side thermometer and I'll get back to you. It's 8 degrees. Yeah. So not warm. I just find that you get less hot pixels and that kind of thing when you run the cooling a little bit. Let's go back to that live view. So we've done 11 minutes on this now, about to be 12. I do believe Bode, who's just nipped away for a little bit, he was suggesting we have a look at the Veil Nebula region. Do we have any other suggestions as well of things that you'd like to see? We've all been through the hassles of getting started. Yep, 100%, mate. Ignore my last comment. Not got my glasses on. Okay, mate. Wombat, you get 10 hours of dark. Wow, that's incredible, mate. I mean, yeah, literally just as Jack was saying there, right as I was about to say it, at least we get long nights in winter. We do indeed. It seems to never end. They're so long, in fact, that if you do get a true clear night, you know, like a clear day leading into a full clear night, you have to pick 2 targets because the night lasts so long that you can't possibly stay on that target all night unless it's circumpolar, perhaps. There was a Type 1 supernova in the pinwheel in 2011. Andy says, yeah, I thought that were it. It was the decade event, is this one. Dave Kemp, yours is showing 7 degrees, 25 miles south, so it's ever so slightly colder for you, mate. I wonder if my observatory walls might be keeping ambient temperature ever so slightly higher. Mine was showing 8 degrees. M63 suggested from Isaac. Seda region, Dumbbell Nebula perhaps. Ghost or Iris. Wow. How do I pick? Well, I reckon we've done two galaxies back to back now. So let's hit up a nebula, I would say. The Eskimo, Keith suggests. That would be an interesting target if I had a slightly finer pixel scale to image it with. My camera a little bit coarse for that kind of thing, I would say. I do want to hit up some more planetary nebula though, as just by the by, over the coming months. That could be interesting to do. So I don't know if I hit to save as scene as well, so I'll do that. But there it is, 14 minutes on M51. Not bad. Not too bad. So let's go now, reconnect up the camera in Nina. That's not the camera, Luke. That is. We'll use the framing tool and we'll go after another target. So loads of good suggestions. Isaac asks, what's your sampling rate? 1.25 arc seconds per pixel is popping into my mind. I will double check that for you, mate, just so I'm not doling out misinformation. But yeah, what are we thinking? So M97 and M108 get both a Nebula and a Galaxy. Isaac, that is tempting. I wonder if my camera rotation's wrong for that though, mate. Wouldn't surprise me if we've been foiled. Let's take a little look. Westlake says, gotta go. Wife says I'm on barbecue duty. Have a good night. Yeah, you have a lovely barbecue, mate. Hope you have a fantastic one. Enjoy yourself. Thanks, by the way, for jumping in and spending some time. Go on, that's a good suggestion, that, Isaac. I have to say, mate. Let's go with that for a bit. Right, I was going to answer your question as well, Isaac, about what's my sampling rate. So to do that, I will just double check on a different site. Going to use Astronomy Tools calculator for field of view. That'll tell me if I just input my focal length and camera pixel size. So yeah, 1.25 arc seconds per pixel is indeed what it was, Isaac. I just wanted to make double sure, like you say, that I won't give you any wrong info, mate. But for things like Keith suggested, the Eskimo Nebula, I'd much rather be imaging much finer than that. Somewhere around, I don't know, 0.7 or even lower arc seconds per pixel. CFox says, next investment, a rotator. Man, I mean, that would be nice if I could fit one into the Raster's imaging train, but I guess it'd be one more cable to try and hide. They tend to be quite expensive though, don't they? Which is it now? Prima Luce Lab, I think, make some nice rotators. Let's see how this turns out anyway. I know that the surfboard's a lovely bright Galaxy. Andy says, right, Luke, got a bail, I'm afraid, fella. Oh, no worries, mate. No worries at all. Thank you very much, by the way, for all help you've been giving to people. I really appreciate it. You've got to work in the morning. Oh, no. Yeah. Hey, thanks again, Andrew. I appreciate it, mate. Hope you have a lovely evening. Supernova seems brighter tonight than it was on Monday when your last image, Dave says. That's interesting. I noticed some people, this is to you, Dave, and anybody interested, were saying that it was actually dimming down now, so it was perhaps past peak brightness. But if you're saying it seems brighter, maybe some sort of local effects were causing other people to think that, or vice versa. Maybe it's the same thing's going on for you. Perhaps it was suppressed when you last saw it on Monday. Looks like we're on target now, so let's get the camera connected back up and kick off this live stack. Let's see. So we're good to go, and now it's just a case of waiting a minute for anybody watching and maybe doesn't know exactly what's happening right now. We're just skipping around the sky, finding different targets to shoot and having a bit of fun. This one says, trying to figure out the Nina histogram. like the statistics, what I'm seeing is min value and max value should be low. If that's the case, I've been doing it wrong. Really, you want to be focusing on the mean value. You're always going to see some extremely low minimum values due to cold pixels being stuck, reporting zeros or near zero values. And you're also always going to see some very high values as reported by hot pixels and things like that, or perhaps the cores of bright stars burning out. But the one you really want to focus on, seeing that it's placed well in the histogram, just left of center is a good rule of thumb, is your mean values, mate. Alright, so we've got that first frame in. Let's color balance a little bit, because this is extremely washed out by moonlight by the look of things. And there you have it, 60 seconds. This one's for you, Isaac. Good night, Andrew. Andrew Waring. Thanks everyone for the info. If I've interpreted you right there, it sounded like you were going. Wombat says your Bintel 200mm reflector with the Artemis C Pro gives you 0.96 arcseconds per pixel. Nice. A lot of people used to consider that was around about perfect sampling, around about just 1 arcsecond. Enrique says, while I was listening and reading your chat, I just installed all my acquisition software on a second PC since you've been having issues with the USB ports of the old PC you suspect. Well, I hope that's corrected all your issues there, Enrique. Guiding and connection issues. Siegfried, good to see you, mate. Hope you're having a good day. Good evening to you. Supernova was at its brightest on the 24th of this month. I see. So we are now holding the same brightness since the 24th. Interesting. Good to know. Thanks for sharing that info, Siegfried. Dave Kemp says, I just compared a sub from each night. Good way to do it, mate. Yeah. Could be that the galaxy is more washed out due to the moon glow making the supernova appear brighter. That absolutely seems totally plausible, yeah. I think you've nailed it there, mate. AstroDuck asks, can we look at the Seda region? 100%, mate. We can indeed. I'm just going to let it stack a few frames on this. I think maybe we'll take this up to, I don't know, I think maybe 10 minutes. Seems pretty reasonable. And then we'll go ahead and slew away to some more of a nebulous region and take a look at that instead, eh? If you guys want to focus on more nebular targets for the rest of the night, then I am happy, by the way, to change out the filter for something a little bit more suitable for the job. Luca says, any chance for M16? Crimson Drums were looking forward to the Veil. Yeah, we can hit the Veil too, mate. No problem. We've got plenty of time. We're not spending long per target here, so... On the note of M16, Luca, good question, my friend. I will check that out for you right now. Let's see if it's visible anytime upcoming, because it is one of my absolute favourite targets. M16. So let's just load it up and see how low it is. So it looks like it's extremely low. Peaking at 22 degrees high by 3 in the morning. Wow. It would look cool. I'm just not completely sure we're going to be able to hit that. I mean, I guess we could try, but yeah. We can do the Veil and then Seda. I'm fine with that, AstroDuck says. That's it, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm happy with whatever you guys want to do. I'm just along for the ride, having some fun. Seafox says, just realised your field of view is wider than my 61 EDPH. Yeah, it's pretty wide. This Raster 11 is 620mm focal length. And I've got an APS-C sized sensor on it. Alan suggests that M17 is higher. It is indeed, yes. The what do you call it? The Omega or the Swan Nebula, if I'm recalling the correct target. This one says, so what should the mean value be? Good at in Nina cameras. So much learning coming from a DSLR. Yeah, I hear that, mate. That's it's extremely big jump moving to a dedicated Astro camera. In Nina's histogram, I don't know if I can pull one up for you to kind of look at, but what you'd we don't have it. Oh, there we go, the histogram statistics. So this were very far across to the left because it was basically a plate solving exposure. But let's say if you could get your mean values from being very low like this, 2700 or whatever you're currently at, up to something more in the region of, well, anything above where this is at will probably work. But if you wanted to aim for somewhere around the middle, you're going to be looking at about 25 to 30,000 ADU on there. So you'd have to just adjust gain, exposure, and offset levels until you reach that kind of neat balance where you start getting very high stacking efficiency data. Very strong red cast going across this image. It's not very pleasant in this filter. M17 Omega or Swan. Yeah. I image those targets like so infrequently that I do perhaps second guess my knowledge of them ever so slightly. That's quite a nice indicator of some resolution happening right now, because we can notice that this kind of double star or whatever it is does have a B component right there, a tightly fitting second star right next to it. Don't know if that's coming on the screen for you guys, but there she is. I know that on old images of this that I've taken, those are very often blurred into one. Well, this is where it's looking like after 7 minutes. Maybe try rebalancing the colour, Isaac says. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to end up as badly burnt as Skull today, because the left-hand side of the image looks alright, but the right's horrendous. So if I balance to get the right correct, make that look better, I'm probably going to throw the left side off at the same time, you know what I mean? I'm going to try moving it around a little bit. It seems extremely sensitive to movements. I'll try and balance on star colour, see if that's any better. That is not better. Abort! Yeah. I don't know, man. Something's going on a bit weird. Let's take a little look at the owl while we're here. Lots of small background galaxies becoming visible. What filter are you using, Siegfried asks? It's just a IDAS LPS D2. So a pretty broadband filter, all things considered, mate. But it's the first time that I've ever used it on my Raster 11. And I'm thinking perhaps that it's seeing some degree of kind of a strange bandpass shift going on. I could be completely wrong with that, but it's the first time I've seen it do this to an image's background. It looks crap. Do you know what I mean? Does SharpCap have an unlinked stretch option like in PixInsight? I imagine that with the color balance, that's giving you kind of like an unlinked stretch appearance. Otherwise, it'd all be super green. You know what I mean? Astroduck asks, what focal length are you at? I'm at 620 millimeters focal length. With Astro Image J on the supernova. Yeah, another solid bit of info there from Andy. The cast is weird as it's coming from 90 degrees to the moon's direction. North-south rather than east-west. I'm glad you're oriented to all this in your mind, mate. Good luck, Stan. Enjoy, mate. Yeah, so we've had 9 minutes. Let's let this last 10th minute stack. And I guess if we're going to go after some Nebula, hunting some of those, I could perhaps change my filter if you guys think you're up for that. Should only take a few minutes. Refocus and resolve, and we'll go after some more Nebula targets, if you like, anyway. Unless you guys would like to see some more galaxies later on in the night, perhaps. Stan says he's taking us with him. Well, that's nice. Just changed the stream title. I realise I've left it wrong there for ages. Jack says, "Yeah, I reckon changing the filter makes sense." Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Jack. I'm hoping it could help with all this, because it doesn't look nice. Can you do Hogue's objects, or is that not available? Probably a bit small for this. This equipment setup right now, to be honest, mate. I'd love to have hit that up because it's such an interesting looking target. Isaac says, don't forget to update the description too. I will have to do that, yeah. I'm falling behind with everything. Filter, that's what I need to find. Alright, we're in action now. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll slew this. I'll save this now. Just take a look at that some other time. We'll disconnect camera. And I need to park my scope so I can actually change the filter. I left PhD running. Yeah, so we'll do that. We're going to go with the Antler. So that is the ALPT dual band high speed. If my camera will focus for you guys, that's what we're going to use. I'll change it over into the filter draw system for my raster now. Blue Lemon says, "I've just checked Hogue's object is way tiny, even at 1000 mil." Yeah, mate, it really is a small one, isn't it? Beautiful though. Would be interesting to see the difference. RE the filter swap, says C Fox. Yeah, if nothing else, we're just having a bit of fun, aren't we? Playing around, chilling out together. It's weird, is live streaming, you know. I kind of feel like we're just hanging out, even though there's probably hundreds and thousands of miles dividing all of us. Not all of us, but you know. So now we've got the ALPT high speed in. That's ready to go. I can't be bothered taking some flats. So I imagine we'll just go with this without flats and see what we get, basically. If it looks absolutely horrendous, then I will take flats rather than subject you to that. But yeah, let's see what we get first, eh? So nice hanging out. Yeah, gonna have to do some work. Have a good night, Logan. Thank you very much for jumping in, mate. Wait for the sensor to cool before stacking. Gives a better live stack. Good advice, Wombat. Focal length of James Webb Space Telescope. Off the top of my head, I don't really know. I think it's about 25 meters or something like that. I could be way off with that though. Have you been back to any ARP targets? I haven't, mate. I did a video on one a little while back. Took one and really enjoyed it, shooting something strange. But no, not been back to them, but I will, definitely. Jack says he likes the chilled out live stream vibe. Yeah, me too, mate. I'm glad that's coming across. How big is the tadpole? Depends on the breed of frog, I imagine. No, it's reasonably big. You're on the other side of the planet. Yeah, how cool is that we can just chill and hang out? Morning, Aussie Gold, by the way. I'll be back in just a moment, guys. I am going to change over this filter now. Probably need some trusty headlamp action. Get that going. Yo, I'm back. So I've changed over the filter now. We can turn off my headlamp, is what we can do. And get this thing unpacked and let's try again. Hopefully this filter's going to give us some better results. You've looked it up and James Webb Space Telescope is 131 meters. Wow, that is tons more than I thought it was. Wow. Yeah, I wonder which I'm thinking of then, with about 25 meters. Is that perhaps Hubble? What is Hubble's? Hubble focal length. No, that's way more than I thought. 57.6. Learn something new every day. Yeah. F20 and Luke's F2. Bit of a difference. Admittedly, I think James Webb's mirror's slightly bigger than mine, though. Right, we should be... Hello, what's going on? Yep, should be back in a usable position. So, first thing I need to do is get this thing focused, because it's going to be miles off due to differing glass thickness between those two filters that I've just changed. So let's do that. What classification is the tadpole? You're trying to find it in Telescopius. What is it now? Tadpoles. Nebula. IC 410. That should put you straight on it, Blue Lemon. Yeah, we're way out of focus on this, aren't we? So, at a guess, we'll try a slight outwards. Yep, we guessed correct. I'll let it get a little bit closer. Looks good. And now we'll run an autofocus routine through this and hopefully really straighten things out. All right. Hopefully this shouldn't take too long, guys. Sorry about the delay. Isaac says, shouldn't you also need to update your back focus for the best results? I mean, yes, you are right. But for the difference between, you know, a filter glass of 1 mil versus one that's 1.5 or so, you only ever count in 1/3 of the glass substrate thickness. So I'd be like messing around outside with a tiny little digital caliper or something, trying to figure that one out. It seems to be tolerant to that degree of back focus error, does the RASA. If it was out by millimeters or something, then yeah, 100%. Be right back, says Blue Lemon. Okay, mate. We'll see you soon. I'm really interested now to see how much better this filter's going to look. We can't shoot galaxies now, really, but I'm sure we can have plenty of fun otherwise. Ooh. Got a satellite going through. What do you guys think? Do you reckon I should just go with the plan of not bothering with flats, or maybe go ahead and take a few? I don't know. What filter are you using? Sammy says. So up until just now in the stream, Sammy, we were using a IDAS LPS D2. But now for the rest of the EAA stream, we're switching to a Antlia ALPT dual band high speed. And your advice is take the flats, never skip. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, of course, you are right. With the amount of reflections you have, I'd say it's worth the few minutes it takes. Yeah. True. Wombat says, the horse head for me has been satellite territory of late. Ooh, that's rough, mate. Dean. Good to see you, Dean. Been a while since I saw you on the channel, mate. Velneb is quite large. Yeah, true. If we are going after some big targets, I'll stop being lazy and I'll take some flats. As long as you guys don't mind waiting the few minutes. Andrew says F the flats. That's usually my way, mate. Oh, especially for like EAA and things. But no, I do see what people are saying. I've got one reflecty system, so I'd best do my best with it. Nah, they don't take too long, do they? So once this is finished focusing, I'll know we're good then, and I will go ahead and, just like I did at the start of the session, take a couple of flats. Andy says, would love to say don't bother taking flats, but we all know it'll bite us in the rear. Yeah. Show how to do flats. Major importance of imaging. Okay. Yeah. That's true, Sammy, yeah. Or the IMX 571, or the full frame variant too, or the IMX 585. None of them need darks, really. Yeah, you've convinced me, guys. You've convinced me. Thank you for keeping me on the straight and narrow path. Apparently Beetlejuice's pulse has doubled. I assume you mean the rate of its variances kind of thing. We're nearly at the end of this focus run. If you see what I was talking about earlier, by the way, I mean, look at the difference between these focus movements, step to step. Well, it's just finished its focus, but whatever. What I'm going to say is those 400 movements, which would be massive on any other scope, are just like a normal focus move. On this Rasa, I think it's got extremely tall gearing. Show people how to take them with the 294. Whoo. Yeah, that is a challenge. I guess it's not too bad once you're used to them, but let's just say I am happy to be using the 571 for this particular stream. So right, Flat Wizard. I do need to salute to Zenith for this as my flat panel. Just has no hope of fitting, otherwise it'll just slip straight off end. And we'll go ahead and I'll take some flats using SharpCap for this, because that's what I'm actually just messing around live stacking in, isn't it? So we should nearly be there. Let's take a look through the guide cam. On your edge 8, the steps are about 300. It's good to know, Siegfried. So I guess that's got, you know, the same sort of focus of gearing. I know that my Rasa 8, though, didn't. That needed focus steps of about 50 or so to get really nice, pretty V curves. Alright, looks like we're in a good position now. So, equipment, disconnect the camera from here. Normally, I would use Flats Wizard if I was doing a proper session and, you know, really going after it. But since this is just EAA, I'm going to use SharpCap's Flat Wizard. I think I might boost the gain up just ever so slightly now. So we're using slightly lower read noise. Capture a flat. So now it's going to start analyzing the histogram. And it will tell us the histogram status. So when I go in there now and put the panel on the end, we should start to see this be able to be reaching a green state. I'll talk more on that in a second. For now, the panel. Wow. Oh, right. I guess I ain't really got that much to demonstrate. I've just nailed it by guessing it. So in this case, 938 milliseconds is giving me a green, you know, good to go. Okay, histogram status. You'll note that the white peak is hovering around the center. That's good. Nothing's being significantly clipped over to the right or the left. Nothing too bad. I could maybe trim this ever so slightly if I wanted to pull the whole thing slightly further to the left, get it something like 850 milliseconds. That might make those values go more here, yeah, like that. I think we'll go with that. We'll start capturing some fresh flats. We do have it set to capture and subtract bias frames, which it will do automatically. It'll change the camera to 1 millisecond exposures, so it doesn't matter about the flat panel. It's not really going to gather in enough light to matter, as it will be 1/850th the exposure length of the flats themselves. Hope that kind of explains what I'm doing. I'm not going to bother with darks because honestly I just don't ever use them for this camera. I just don't need them. And its temperature is also pretty stable, but for short exposure flats like this, you don't really need to worry about that too much. So it's flying through this now. It's just going to take a moment to stack up after it's finished, and we'll have a good usable flat. So what was the choice again, guys? It was, I think, the Veil Nebula that someone said, and then over to the Seda region, I do believe. Sorry for punching the microphone, by the way. As Andrew says, for anybody with the 294 base sensor, you do indeed need much longer flats. I find, I need like 7-second flats in order to get super repeatable calibration results. 54 degrees north, Sammy. Vale and Seda, Astro Duck, yeah, thanks for that, mate. So that's done. It's just, I imagine, averaging things out now, making that flat for me. Not too much more waiting. Luca says, Luke, is it just me, or does the IMX585 sensor deserve a tech cooling system? I wish that I could comment more. I'm just going to say watch this space, mate. Wink. Yep, looks like we're done. So we've got a flat. As you can see, it's already been applied. Thanks to SharpCap being just a fantastic bit of kit. Now I'm going to go ahead, take that panel off, and let's get back to it, guys. Sorry about the wait. I'm sure player one has something on the way with us not far behind. No comment. Yeah. Right. Let's get lined up onto something then, guys. The Veil Nebula. It was. So I'll reconnect up just to use Nina's much more robust plate solving system, as I want to frame things up properly for the live stream. And was it the Western Veil that you guys wanted to see? Is that right? Welcome back, Bode. We're just about to tackle your target, mate. NGC... Was it the western side that you want? The Witcher's Broom? NGC 6960. And I'm pretty sure they've already contacted Luke about doing a trial run. No comment. I mean, you're not making this easy for me, Sammy. I am on the correct side for you, aren't I, Brodie? Is this the target that you wanted to see, mate? I'll just wait for you to confirm a sec. Do let me know if it's the wrong one, by the way, bud. I'm happy to change. Spot on, yeah. All right then, let's slew and center, and if you're happy with that framing, we'll fire it up again in SharpCap, and hopefully we're going to have beaten that horrendous gradient that we've been dealing with all night. I'm really a little bit puzzled as to what's been going on with that IDAS filter tonight. It's not been looking pretty. That Astro Dark is very sad. Yep, it is indeed. You should see it in winter though, mate. It's not sad then. About 18 hours of pure night. Luke's probably already finished the video. No, mate, no. I mean, yeah, I can't really say. It's not even anything serious either. It's just I promise not to say anything. Try out NGC 6914. Wow, look at that on a plate solve exposure. Jeez. What's the rotation of your camera? It is 180.87 degrees. So nearly completely flat. It was a pinky promise, mate, and as we know, you can't break a pinky promise. It's just not on. Enrique says, know what? The next live stream should be on Friday or Saturday, so we can have a beer or something. That's not a bad idea, mate, to be honest. I mean, I'm no big drinker, but yeah, maybe. 1 or 2 beers is pretty darn nice. Let's go ahead, disconnect, get over into SharpCap, and have at it. Just make sure it puts us flat back on for us as well. Yeah, that's the right one. Cool. What are we thinking, guys? 60-second exposure or so again? Keep it at least in the spirit of EAA, rather than doing mega long exposures or anything like that. We'll pick... I choose you. You can be my guide star. Regular Friday night streams, that would be cool. Sammy says, quite rightly, yeah, you can break an NDA, just not a pinky promise. That I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page with this. Lucas says you had the Uranus C and was pretty happy with it, but now you've changed to a 533 MC Pro, but you still haven't had the chance to use it. Damn, man. I hope you get a chance soon. I missed that, by the way, Sammy. You're at 11 hours and 20 minutes for Astro Dark. Is that your You're 11 hours and 20 minutes away from Astro Dark. So it's like middle of the day for you, or have I misinterpreted what you're saying there? You're getting 11 hours and 20 minutes of Astro Dark per night. In which case, wow, that's a lot. Just total Astro Dark. Wow, yeah. I bet you can really rip through a project or two if you regularly see clear nights while it's that dark. Crank it to 180. Yeah, a cool shandy. You know, mate, a shandy's not bad. I don't want to sound like I'm too soft, but a shandy's not bad. It's hip to be square. Oh, that band now. No, it's going to bother me. Hip to be square. Huey Lewis and the News. What's this clear night thing? Yeah, I'm confused too, mate. I mean, I'm experiencing some sort of strange event right now where it's clear, but it's very much the exception rather than the norm. And all of a sudden, all that horrendous gradient is gone. Look at the state of that, guys. 60 seconds. Ah! That's nuts. 60 seconds. Why was I not using this filter right from the start of the night? Really well controlled. That particularly bright star there too. That's good to see. We'll have to see in 10 minutes time or so if it still looks really nice, that star. But yeah, I agree, Jack. I mean, that's pretty nuts, mate, isn't it? 60 seconds. All that oxygen coming through too. In the spirit of Patrick Bateman. Yeah, you got it. What the hell was going on with the IDAS? Honestly, Andy, I have no idea, mate. Just completely beats me because I've never had it act like that before on a partially moonlit night. So yeah, that's a strange one. The LPS-D2 usually been a decent performer, but tonight it's just an absolute bag of crap. Chris asks, what filters in the thing right now you missed as you were on a trot outside to kick the scope? Just let it know who's boss, mate. Yeah. Right now we've got in the Antlia, that one, purple box, ALPT high speed 5nm dual band filter, mate. We switched away from the IDAS LPS-D2, that kind of general purpose filter, because I don't know, I just kind of felt like we were getting some sort of strange effect happening across the screen. As you saw earlier on in the stream, we had decent visibility off to the left, and then over to the right of the image, it just looked, yeah, really strange, the colour cast for some reason. That's right, Sammy, LPS-D2. And Andy, no, mate, never once have I had the IDAS do that to me. Always it seems to help manage gradients rather than accentuate or perhaps even create them, like that was doing. But here we see it had to be the filter, not the scope, because this filter's working absolutely perfectly. We've got a beautiful flat field. You know what I mean? I'm glad, by the way, that you talked me into doing flats. You are all correct. No strange reflections going on anymore. It looks wonderful. Are there any lights on your camera or in your local area? So I've got a pretty decent length dew shield on the end of my scope, and the camera has one light that faces out into space, so that's no issue either. Good suggestions though. Nice fault finding. Could have been close to the moon. Yeah, we were aiming. I mean, we were aiming near zenith for a lot of the night when we were seeing those issues happening though, where atmosphere is obviously at its thinnest, and generally gradients and things are also at the weakest. I'm going to go with your explanation actually, Sammy. Who knows? Because I certainly don't. Who knows what's going on? Let's see if we can just tighten up this view a little bit. Yeah, that's absolutely nuts. 60 seconds. I may be clipping black slightly there. 60-second frames and we're making that. So we're at 5 minutes right now. Let's take another look. Close in, so not bad. Looking pretty sharp. We haven't seen that red cast on any subs before yet. Still see a small gradient, but it's much better than before. You have got a tighter bandpass now, yeah, all true. I like that little fleck of oxygen right there, and also some of this background too. It's all, you know, I can't believe there's so much of it visible in just 5 minutes. That looks superb. I do see what you mean, by the way, Isaac. There is still that very weak gradient, but man, it's nothing like before, is it? You know what I mean? Good evening to you, Ghost Flyer. Thanks for joining in, mate. This is indeed on the Rasa. Yeah, Rasa 11 f2.2. Let's take a look across. Yeah, ever so slightly. Yeah, there's so much background nebulosity popping out now in just 5 minutes. Well, 6. Looks superb. I can't wait to see what other targets start looking like now. Hey there, Andy. Thanks for coming along, mate. Still cloudy for you. Oh no. Is it due to clear up at any point, Ghost? Just noticing PhD bonging away at me there. What's going on? Seems fine. Deep Space Astro. Hey there, mate. Hope you're doing well. Really got to go now, says Andy. Oh, mate. Thank you very much indeed for all the time you spent. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Have a nice evening. Isaac asks, what is my sky quality / bottle zone? I'm in a bottle 7, mate. Bottle 7 skies. Only other thing you can think of is a light leak from the imaging train. Yeah, it's pretty well sealed at this point, Sammy. I flocked the inside of everything that I possibly could. I am thinking, potentially, there seems to be perhaps some sort of bandpass shift that shouldn't be happening on a filter like this, but it seems like everything was just shifted across to the reds rather strangely. Could be completely wrong, by the way. It's just a guess. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday for you to get some clear. Oh, that's not too bad, mate. That's not too bad. The veil is one of those targets that you zoom in and look at regions of the nebula. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I've just been looking at this region up here, actually. I want to take a closer look where the oxygen seems to ripple away from itself on both sides. Look at that. All this fine filamentary detail. So nicely resolved, do you know what I mean, in 8 minutes time. What colour is the light that you mentioned on your camera? It's green when it's plugged in, I think, mate. When it's powered up and on, I think it's green. I could be wrong, but it's really well shielded. It's not able to creep forwards, so it all just emits backwards. So it's got no way of making its way back down my telescope. Excuse me. I really am sorry. I keep swallowing air while I'm talking. Just trying to catch up on chat a little bit. Hope Chloe gets better soon. Oh, thank you, Andy. Yeah, I will absolutely tell her of all well wishes from you guys tonight, by the way. I massively appreciate it. Really do. Crimson Drum says the veil looks better than mine after I processed it. Oh, mate, thank you. You make it look so easy. Well, I'm glad it looks like I'm having an easy time. Nah, all things considered, mate, it is going easy tonight, innit? I'm not having too much of a rough time of it, which is nice. I shan't complain. BD Jones. This past week's photos were all extremely red for you. I believe it was due to the Canadian wildfires. Yeah, that's been an effect for you guys, hasn't it? I've had friends all over the United States saying it's just been ruining any attempts that they've made at Astro effectively. Ghost Flyer, I'm living vicariously through you. I'm happy to be of some use, mate. Only too happy. BD Jones, on Wednesday the haze was so bad I couldn't use any of the 4 hours of data I gathered. Wow, that's rough, mate. I hate nights like that. I've had them myself for different reasons, of course, but yeah, it never feels good going to all that effort of capturing hours and hours and hours of data and then finding it's all useless. That's a feels bad, man. Bode says, it would be so cool to get the veil at like 2,000 mils of focal length. Yeah, it would. I mean, I wonder how much more those kind of filaments would start popping out then. I'm not sure how much more the atmosphere has to give on a capture of this nature, though. You know, where we're just viewing it live, no time for deconvolution or anything like that. I reckon that this would actually look pretty incredible if I passed it through BlurXTerminator or something like that. It's such a nice, you know, rich target. In fact, if anybody's interested, I can save this one out as a stack. I'll pull it across my network and we'll take a little look at actually what it does look like with some very basic processing in PixInsight while we stack up the next target, if you want. AstroDuck says, can we go to the Seda region? Absolutely, mate. Yeah, thank you for waiting very patiently. I'll let this reach 15 minutes and then we've got something to take a look at in PixInsight or whatever you want. BD says, oh, Enrique, you've got to leave. Sorry about that, mate. I missed your message completely. Thank you very much for spending some of your evening with me, mate, and I hope to see you again in the next one. So, yeah, thanks again. Like an apparition or a rainbow. I missed that as well. Sorry, Aussie. Yeah, it's such an interesting target. BD was saying he's on the east coast of the US. I'm assuming he there, sorry. The wildfire haze made the moon appear quite red on Wednesday and Thursday last week. Cool event in and of itself, though. I mean, every cloud has a silver lining, or a red lining in this case. Damn, Luke, I'm packing up house. Very impressed. Thank you, mate. Yeah, this is filters. I should have just gone with this from the start of the night, but you live and learn, eh? Live and learn. Lucky imaging on the veil. That would be cool. It's bright enough, I think, that you could do a degree of lucky imaging, especially if I boosted the gain a touch there, Brody. Chris says go for it. Jack says go for it. Yeah. I think we will go for it then, guys. Yeah. Hello there, Manuel. Thank you very much for joining in. Lubo, good to see you, mate. Hope you're having a lovely day. Oh, apparently you're not. You're sick. Oh, no. Well, in that case, I hope you start feeling better soon, mate. As soon as possible. And hit that like button. Yes. Ghost Flyer says, the El Popo volcano erupted this past week. I still don't know which way the smoke cloud is going. It normally comes this direction. That's probably not helping much either. Yeah. So I think we'll let this finish this frame and then we'll head off to the Seda region. Is there any particular part you'd like to see, AstroDuck? You've waited extremely patiently, mate. So do feel free to point out a particular region you want to see. I'm more than happy to show you it. Clear in London tonight for John. That's good. But far too windy. That's not good. Oh no. I really should finish comments before replying. Same forecast all week, sadly. No. Got an hour or so on NGC 6960. That's what we're shooting, isn't it? Last week in 3nm SHO. Yeah. Wonderful, mate. I bet that's made a cracking image. So, AstroDuck says, you'd like to see the Butterfly Nebula or the Crescent? So, well, we started the night on the Crescent. I mean, I could revisit it if you guys wanted, or... Lubo's asking what is the focal length and the FOV. So I don't know exactly in degrees for you there on the FOV, but it's 620mm f2.2 with the Raster 11. We're using a dual narrowband filter, so we're going after strictly at this point now really nebulae, that kind of thing, or should I say emission nebulae, supernova remnants, planetary nebula, that kind of stuff, rather than reflection nebula and the like. And I'm using a APS-C sized sensor, by the way, Lubo. Where's Scorpio for you at the moment? It is very low, I do believe. Crescent, Butterfly, yeah. I mean, we can take a look at both again if you want, if you guys don't mind too much. I've gone on longer than I said I would anyway, so I will save that as a stack. We can take a look at that in SharpCap in a moment. I'll also save it as scene, so we've got a reference to what we started with versus what we end up with. Close down this live stack, and we'll go over now. And let's use the framing wizard. So the Butterfly Nebula. Let's see. Have I perhaps selected the wrong target here? Yes, I have indeed. Seda region Butterfly. IC 1318. Will that put us on it? Let's double check. Yeah, you're right there, Vidinfra. I always know it as the Butterfly around Seda, but apparently I am mistaken. Yeah, Bernard 347, I guess, is the right designation. How about we really challenge this filter as well, and we'll capture Seda itself right there, and NGC 6910, that little cluster. Sounds cool to me. Let's do that. What do you think about the 2.8nm Antlia filters? Manuel asks. I'm afraid I don't have an opinion on them, mate. I've got no experience with them, so I'd hate to give you any misinformation by just assuming. Sorry, I can't be more help with that one. Wow, look at that. The plate solving exposure shows it super clear. That's nuts. This is going to look crazy, I think, on a 60-second shot. Going to be interesting. We're just along for the ride, so indulge yourself. Oh, mate. No, I really like the the interactive aspect that we've got going on now. That's really cool. M101 in narrowband. Supernova really shines through in narrowband. Interesting. It's good to know, mate. So I think we're done. It's done in one. It's picked a nice, extremely saturated, but whatever, star for guiding. Right, let's go for it. Get connected back up. John says he'd be interested to see if you can get any oxygen 3 from SH2129. The HA comes out quickly, but oxygen 3 has been a challenge. Interesting. I'll search for that target in Nina in just a moment then, mate, and we'll see if it's something that we could actually try for you if you're interested in that. I certainly don't mind. Keith asks, mate, what is your scope if money is no object? That is a good question, Keith. I'll be honest, I am currently using a dream scope of mine, so I feel very lucky about that one, thanks to, if he's still in the chat, my friend Chris really made that possible for me. So that's the RASA 11. If I had a bigger observatory, which I don't, but if I did, then a RASA 14. Yeah, I would love a RASA 14. That'd be an incredible kit. What the heck? 1 minute. That's 1 minute. RASAs, man. Jeez. Take a look at that. That stopped me in my tracks, didn't it? Yeah, and that's why I like RASAs. Jeez. That's just unreasonable. What the heck, man? Let's zoom in a little bit. We'll go 50%. So we've got a little bit of cable diffraction going on. That's normal. I haven't actually paid any attention to carefully routing my cables yet. So, but the filter is actually doing well on a reasonably bright star. Take a look at that. 1 minute. Should just stack that second frame in a moment. Yes, now we've reached 2 minutes of integration. We've got all kinds of flecks of dark nebula coming through. Incredible. Oh my god. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you. That's wild. RASA, man. Jeez. Try and color balance ever so slightly more. But yeah, wacky. I will open up the file browser. Not on this PC, on a second PC, because I need to pull across that data that we talked about, so we can just take a look at the Witch's Broom if you guys are interested. Not like a complete process or anything like that, but just a little peek. SharpCap captures. See if I can find it. Shouldn't take too long. Is this the right one? That is the right one. So this is the saved as seen image that we just took. That looks wonderful. Wow, man. With some BlurXTerminator, that's going to be completely nutty. So we're going to copy that across to my main desktop. Just minimize all this stuff. I realize I have a very messy desktop. Let's fire up PixInsight. Keep an eye on this a moment. So yeah, 4 minutes in. And honestly, after 4 minutes, that's better than any image I took in my first 5 years of astronomy. It's like a cheat code, it really is. VidInfra says, could I put in a vote for the Heart or the Soul Nebula next, please? My favourite set of nebulae. I'm so cheesy. I imaged it for my girlfriend on Valentine's Day this year. That's not cheesy, mate. That's nice. Good on you. I bet she really appreciated that. Thank you, Luca. Yeah, that's pretty nifty. We'll take a look at that then again. But right now, where are we? Let's open this up and we'll take a little peek. Let's give it an unlinked stretch and take a little look at that. So this is just with an unlinked stretch applied. Nice, I would say. Let's give it a little dynamic crop. Just get rid of some of those stacking artifacts. That'll do. DBE. I want to get rid of that gradient. Let's see if we can generate some samples. Yeah, they're landing on Nebula and stuff, but I just don't mind at this point. Let's see how it turns out. We're just messing, aren't we? It's not like we're trying for an A-pod or something. Let's take a little look. Did it work? It did good enough. Did good enough. So we'll continue with just this one. Now I'm going to pass BlurXTerminator over it. Just full defaults. While that runs through, I don't actually have GPU acceleration turned on this, and I really should because I've got a pretty fast graphics card. It's just you have to set it up every single time you update PixInsight, and I'm too lazy. If you want the truth. So that's what we're dealing with. Wow, 6 minutes now. I do believe John mentioned SH2129, the flying bat. So we're going to take a look also at framing that, see how high up it is. SH2129. Maybe we'll find flying bat. No. Does it have a perhaps an easier designation that we could use? SH2129. Has to be just that part of Sharpless catalog, I guess. SH212. I'll tell you what, I'll enter an RA and deck instead. That might be easier to do rather than messing around. RA is 21 hours 12 minutes. 21 hours 12 minutes. We were looking. 20 seconds. This will be close enough. We can just finalize framing, can't we? Declination is plus 60. 60:02:15. Oop. 02:15. Let's take a look. See how this goes. Did you image M101 already? I haven't actually done that yet, Lubo, on this this setup. Vela Supernova Remnant is a great target for dual band filters. 100% agree, Manuel. Yeah. Jack says the tip I've seen from Adam Block is to run StarXTerminator before DBE for easy sample placement. Yeah, I've seen that before. Do you think this framing is going to capture what you're looking for? By the way, John, if you're happy with that, mate, just let me know and we'll try hitting that up after, and then we'll keep going after targets that people mention until we lose to Dawn, lose the battle. Sounds like my CPU fans stopped spinning, so BlurXTerminator's done. Yeah, wow, look at the detail on that. If we just undo, redo. That's pretty nutty. Those filaments really tighten up, don't they? Especially towards this tip, I imagine. Yeah. They start to truly separate into what looks like a spiral structure going down. Thank you for looking, by the way, John, for alternative names. Looks like we've probably got it there. You know, I reckon this would really clean up easy with a bit of NoiseXTerminator. It looks fairly noisy, so what we're going to say, around a 0.8 strength. It shouldn't take too long. Let's check in on the live stack. 10 minutes deep, and it's looking pretty neat, I would say. A few hot pixels prevalent across the image, but yeah, it is what it is. Not worried about that, are we? We're just doing EAA, really. I like this dark structure that's starting to emerge from that background hydrogen murk. That's really cool. Yeah, 10 minutes. You know, I wonder how much better this would have looked as perhaps one 10-minute sub. Probably not too much different given how low the read noise is at 300 gain, but still. Christopher Levesque asks, not enough hard drive space. Oh, sorry, after months, I've missed your first message there, Christopher, sorry. After months of clouds, you've taken over 14,000 light subs, wow, and full calibration frames in the last 10 days. All 30-second exposures to try and eliminate satellite trails. You can't process any of it, not enough hard drive space. Jeez, yeah. Which processing software uses the least amount of hard drive to stack? Deep Sky Stacker would be my vote, perhaps. Maybe some of the other slightly alternatives like Cyril. I don't think they use too much. I tend to do all my stacking in AstroPixel Processor, but that's paid software. I don't know if you have access to that, Christopher. But yeah, sorry. Let's get back on with what we were just doing. So it has indeed very much denoised the image. Take a look at that. It's starting to look like we're heading towards a kind of a finished image. Jeez, that's pretty nuts. We'll give it an unlinked stretch using the tool. See how it looks. It's not bad. It's not bad. I could, of course, pull the stars out and then stretch the nebula further, that kind of thing. But I think for the sake of just having a little look, we'll just put an S-curve in it and see what things look like. A little bit of SCNR, make this go blue again. Yeah. Pretty happy with that. For, how long was it? 16 total minutes? Can't complain. Yeah, definitely can't complain. Sorry, let's get back to the live stack now. So we've got this at 13 minutes. John would like us to take a little look at the squid, and so does Robert. Bode there with a recommendation for ASTAP for stacking. Isaac asking for BXT trying out on the Stadia region. We could give that a go potentially, mate. DSS, copy that, yeah. Cyril wants 400 gig. Wow. I had no idea, Christopher. Yeah, that's nuts, mate. Definitely give that a skip. APP is better than PixInsight in terms of hard drive space. Yeah, 100%, mate. And as VidInfra says in his comment there, if you're doing 30-second subs to avoid satellite trails, most stacking programs do doing an excellent job at removing them. Yeah, especially if you have an abundance of sub-exposures where it can really have a wealth of data from which to determine what exactly is an outlier in your stack. It gets rid of all of them for me. I certainly don't go through my sub-exposures finding ones without satellite trails because I'd have no data left. SH2129 pretty much lined up there. 2 bright stars between the 2 lines of HA, and the O3 is close to the 2 bright stars. So if it's pretty much lined up, then John, we'll go for it, mate. This has just hit 15 minutes. I'll go ahead and save that. We'll do a quick save as seen as well. Why not? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. All right, so that live stack's finished for us. Let's try and get lined up now. What are you using, Christopher, that's requiring such short exposures, or do you perhaps live somewhere with, far worse light pollution than me, for example? I'm in at bottle 7, and I can often get away with 2-minute exposures, even with an extremely fast telescope like this one. Just curious. I'm not trying to question you or anything like that, by the way, mate. Just genuinely curious. So I think we'll slew to there with the camera connected. That would have been a nice mistake, young man. Veil is like a natural SHO target. It's so nicely defined, isn't it, Bode? Yeah. Beautiful to see. Chris says Luke's outreach centre. I do what I can. Yeah, no. Seriously though, it's fantastic being able to share my evenings with you guys like this. I am, in truth, probably having more fun doing this than I usually would, just in making videos and the anticipation of sending one of those live. So yeah, there is that. Probably expect to see more live streams in the future. I was deciding tonight basically whether to use this session to kind of like tackle a video subject or something like that, or just chill with you guys, and you can see which I chose. Christopher, 14,000 subs without satellites. Wow. That must have taken some time to sift through, mate. That's pretty intense. Vidinfra says, if you saw some of the stuff PixInsight's taken out of my stacks, you'd be amazed. I've never had any problems with satellites showing up in my images. Yeah, me either, mate. Me either. Once you've got enough frames, it's great at detecting those outliers and sorting it out. John Davies says, you're as bad as me with a raster/hyperstar. As soon as it looks good, move on. Yeah, that's... I can't help myself, mate, to be honest. I actually love EAA sessions like this. It's a ton of fun. Nothing serious is going on, you know what I mean? I'm just having some fun pointing it around the sky. Christopher says, I've had 30-minute exposures, no problem. But the ASI 294MC doesn't like long exposures. Yeah. I have the technical experience now to get long exposures, and bottle 4 to 5 is your sky condition. Got ya. Thanks for the clarification there, Chris. Yeah, or Christopher, rather. Yeah, same. I've noticed the same thing both in PixInsight, DSS, if you're stacking with median kappa sigma clipping. Rejection algorithm. Very much the same in AstroPixel processor. Still figuring out camera settings, says Christopher. Manuel asks, what's your favorite Nebula? M57, M16. They're probably my favorites. That kind of thing. Right. I think I've momentarily phased out there. So we're lined up. Let's disconnect this, reconnect to SharpCap, and we'll take a little look before dawn at John's choice of target. So I've connected back up. The temperature in the immediate is, what are we at now? 8.4 degrees. So if we just wait a few moments, we should hopefully have it cooled by the end of this first exposure. I'm just going to let it stack it though anyway. It's dropping pretty quick. Bottom 9 here. 120 seconds he's pushing it without filters. Yeah, I can only imagine that, mate. That's super strong. Crimson Drums suggests you should do a YouTube #short to announce when you're live streaming. Just a thought, bud. Yeah, cheers, mate. That's not a bad idea. Using shorts for good. Yeah. Cosmic Ray, good to see you. Thanks for joining in, mate. What scope and image sensor and any filters? Yes. So I'm using a Antler ALPT high-speed dual narrowband filter, 5 nanometers of width. The scope is a Celestron Raster 11. That's 620 millimeters focal length, f2.2. And the camera is an APS-C sized IMX571 from Player One, the Poseidon C Pro. And chilling is good, Ghost Flyer. Agreed, mate. So we've got no evidence of the squid just yet. I think we're maybe asking a little bit much on a moonlit night, maybe, but we'll see. Much difference in terms of noise from the current temp? Good question, Raphael. From 9 degrees to -10. A little. I'm not going to say it's dramatic because it's not. You just see less hot pixels and things like that, though, really, mate. The thermal noise on this particular camera sensor, IMX571, is extremely low, even when it's, you know, at plus 20 degrees or so. So cooling, not desperately important, but still, you know, where possible, you should use it. Chris says, all I want is a ring like yours. Well, well, thank you, Chris. I haven't launched an OnlyFans yet, but crikey. Oh, God. Neat to see the HA popping straight out, though, like you said, that it would. I've learned how to use a telescope and a camera, and you didn't care for computers or know anything about graphics, Photoshop, or anything. 18 months ago. Steep learning curve. 100%, Christopher. Yes, that is one hell of a learning curve, mate. Good on you for sticking it out with all those different issues that must have been flying towards you over that time. Wow. What is your tip for a first Astro video? Brody asks. Kind of like we talked about before, really, bud. I mean, not talking yourself out of it is the key. Just hit record and start chatting. Be yourself and go for it, because you know, why not? You'll never know unless you give it a go. And who knows who you might help along the way if you just take that step to put yourself out there and you know, put a public appearance in, if you will, rather than like engaging with the community from the standpoint of just, let's say, Astrobin and things like that, where it's all very anonymous, that kind of thing. As soon as you go ahead and start putting your face on videos and things like that, you've gone a step beyond all that kind of thing. And I think it resonates with people. At least it resonates with me when I'm watching other people. I'd much rather be feeling like I'm listening to someone rather than reading text off a page and learning that way. I made a real mess of explaining that, but hopefully the sentiment came across all the same. I love the technological aspect, the technological challenge of getting the image. Yeah, some people do love that, Christopher, yeah. For me, I mean, I appreciate the technological challenge, but it's not the thing that drives me in particular. I prefer the feeling of almost like a connection with nature and the cosmos. Without sounding too crazy. I'm sure you know what I mean. What is your location, and is there a translator for your ascent? I'm not sure I understand there, Cosmic Ray. Sorry about that. You hate processing, Christopher? Yeah. Me too. Isaac P. How does temperature affect hot pixels? Have you done any testing in that regard? Yeah, so when you cool the camera down a lot, hot or stuck pixels can start to behave themselves, basically. They can be stuck for a certain temperature range and then start acting a little bit more normally. Once you cool things down, that's at least what I've observed. Certainly, let's say if you have a hot DSLR and you take a dark frame, you'll notice it almost looks like you've captured a star field because there's so many hot pixels or clusters of hot pixels. But if you did the same experiment with the DSLR cooled down or whatever camera you're using, you'll notice the frame is a lot darker because most of them have gone back to behaving themselves. Astropornography. After monsoon season, you're planning on buying the 2600 Airmen Pro and a Skywatcher 10-inch Quattro. Nice choice, Manuel. Superb. Lubo says there is a live rocket launch. I nearly said a locket launch stream on YouTube of a Chinese rocket lifting up in around 10 minutes in English too. You can peep in if you're interested. A little different from the usual SpaceX stuff. Nice. Yeah, we maybe we'll catch that if you remind me, mate. Otherwise, I'll probably forget. Robert Calise. It will take a while, but the oxygen tree will show between the two bright stars. So between these. I wonder if with perhaps a far, like almost a destructive stretch, if we'll start to see, I think, something right there. A little bit, maybe. Could be wrong. VidInfra started with a Celestron Astromaster 130 with a phone mounted and an eyepiece, and now you're multiple thousands deep in gear. This hobby is extremely dangerous to the bank balance and sanity. They are true facts, mate, yes. Can't post links here, it's live on YouTube. I mean, if it's coming up in just a few minutes, I can open up YouTube on my screen, and that's kind of a workaround, I guess. We can watch it together. Especially as we're in astronomical dawn. Yeah, John, I think we're really up against it with this one, mate. I'm pretty sure I can kind of see something. I don't know if this is coming across on the live stream, but there is something there. I'm assuming that must be one of the strongest parts visible. But yeah, this you've beat me. You've beat me into submission, mate. It's it's too much for tonight. I think some long exposures, new moon, and 6 weeks or so time when we start getting some astronomical darkness, and it might be a different case though. Maybe worth revisiting. Wombat Zone used to run a Peltier plate with a heatsink and fan on the back of your DSLR. Me too. I made one of those. Would keep your sensor stable at 10 to 15 degrees. Nice. What is the location of the scope? About 2.5 meters that way. Right behind me. I've got a 2-pier observatory, and I love it. I'm very lucky to have all that stuff. Yeah, I think we've been defeated perhaps by that. I am seeing definitely some oxygen there now, I would say. Hopefully that's coming across for you, but it is not much. Yeah. After this, can you take a few shots of M101? I'd like to see how it looks in narrowband. Why not? Let's do it, mate. Yeah, I'll save this now. I think this target's got us licked. So yeah, let's slew away to M101, mate. Give it a quick go, and I'll put that rocket launch on too. M101. Wow. Can't type. How long have we got on the launch, by the way? Let's take a little peek. What's the name of the rocket launch, mate? Rocket launch live, Shenzhou.
The last remaining arms that's still holding the rocket.
And then
This is coming across for you guys.
You can see that the rocket is standing on 4 small pins. So that is, the stability of the rocket. You have to, keep it very centralized gravity.
The cables on these arms are connected to the.
Can we see the cat's eye nebula?
You two gentlemen are already.
Potentially, we might be able to see it, Brodie.
Every time they are nervous.
Right, I'll be as rapid as I can, and I'll get this stacking up, hopefully. It says it's on start guiding, so that's good enough for me.
Right. The 3 taikonauts are ready. The launch of the Shenzhou 16 manned space mission
60 seconds.
is imminent at the moment.
We are indeed guiding.
9:31 is the launch time for this mission. You're watching
Start a
live
live stack.
footage from Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in
And
China.
let's take a look at this launch. I hope this isn't an issue for YouTube.
Shenzhou 16 spacecraft, 3 taikonauts.
Live reacting to someone else's content. I guess lots of channels do that though, don't they?
Much more calm than Earth.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. They're well
Coming up in a
trained.
minute.
1 minute countdown to the launch.
So this is a manned launch. Blimey.
And the arm will be open.
Anytime.
50 seconds to the launch.
Oh yes. Wow.
Now, the rocket is in standalone mode, ready for launch.
Tell you what, that rocket looks like it means business.
The rocket is on its own. The navigation.
30 seconds to go.
This is a video from.
I bet they had to put the extra engines on due to the weight of the astronomers, the astronauts' nuts.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Crikey, good luck.
2, 1. Ignition. Lift off.
Try to make it slightly bigger for you. Wow. That looks freaky.
Pitch over means that it has already changed its direction from vertical direction to the
A
east.
certain angle, right? We can also see that from a far
To
short.
the eastward.
Yes.
Wow. So,
The Shenzhou 16.
any
So this is a video mounted
idea? Oh, I'm just seeing now description.
mounted on
Going to the Tianyong
Right.
space station.
and this is the infrared.
Nice. 16 crew members.
You're
Wow.
watching live footage on the launch of.
Welcome back, Keith. Back from your garden just now, waiting for clear sky on the world.
And the next
No luck
step will
at
be
the moment.
jettisoning
Oh.
of the emergency escape tower.
Right.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in, Keith. Appreciate that, mate.
Again, this is infrared.
We can see a clear angle change.
Wow,
right?
look at that.
So it's flying eastward.
So will there be still some adjustment of the angle?
Watching that launch
to
makes
the,
me want to play
flight
Kerbal
level
Space
of
Program.
the,
I've never tried that, mate. I've never tried. Would you recommend?
So this is you can see the two of the boosters.
There are 4 in total, right?
So I'm assuming
So this is there are two on this
Yeah,
side.
just from
they
the
are going to
side.
detach
To be able to
soon.
see the wind separation.
Right.
So the emergency escape tower will be jettisoned.
I'm used to seeing like
You can see
you
some
know, like
light
SpaceX
sparks on
launches,
top
where's
of the
that
rocket. When when it's
kind of live countdown of what's coming up
And on the
next
right side of the screen is the simulation.
due to max Q and
But it is driven by the
stage
real
separations and things like that.
the position and the okay.
Yeah, agreed. A beautiful launch. It's. I'll be honest. I'm always a little bit uncomfortable watching launches.
Right. Let's wait
Great.
for those step by step.
You know what I mean? For us, it's just like we're just watching it on a screen, but that's like real people, real lives, hopes and dreams, and all that lot heading off, strapped to a rocket.
We can still
Jeez.
on the engines, right? So right now is really.
So are you in Scotland?
Separated.
No, I am
4 engines.
Northern England. So
So separated.
54 degrees north. I don't know if I
So this is
mentioned that. That were a nice separation.
very clear, the 4 boosters and the first stage.
They've already separated from.
Now it's already
Get Kerbal Space Program loop. You have real fun with the
as
physics.
I mentioned, it has one
Nice.
and four
Morning, Pete.
engines.
Right.
Good to see you, mate.
Oh,
They
they
are
say
just
they
talking.
feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking. And we
I
can-
think they've done the max Q, which is the maximum gravity.
They've
So
already done that.
Yeah, they've already done it.
So
Question.
this is a camera
What other channel can you see several different DSOs and a live rocket launch?
camera in the
Yes.
And the next
Yes.
critical
I'm glad you've enjoyed it, bud. That's really nice.
Okay,
It's all done.
it's just
already done.
Wow.
Now they can see the sightseeing.
He looks happy. Bottom right of the
are they out
crew camera. He's got a huge grin on his
So can we
face.
say they're already in outer space?
Yes.
You're watching live footage from inside the Shenzhou 16 spacecraft. The 3 taikonauts
That's fantastic.
now in outer
I like the
space,
suits.
heading towards the China space station. On the left,
I wonder if they're
side of
the itch pads
screen,
that
see the camera mounted.
they often install inside their helmets. You know, for when you get like an itchy nose and you can scratch it on it.
The second
Outside the core stage.
So this is the working of the second stage of the long.
Lubo, thanks for sharing. Yeah, actually, thank you, Lubo, for making us aware of this, mate. It's been really cool to catch.
And the second stage.
Really appreciate it, bud.
Long March 2 have worked much longer than the first stage.
So there, aboard Tang Yong, watching it, I guess.
Thrust about 80 tons.
It's an image of the stage, the second stage engine.
The main engine of the second
Apologies
stage
if I'm
is fixed.
completely
You
butchering
can see that the small engine on the
pronunciations
left,
of these, by the
on
way.
left corner, the small volume engine can change its direction to control the trajectory.
Okay, but
Hope you don't mind just a quick
fixed its angle.
check
Propulsion focus.
on how the live stack's going.
And usually we separate
Wow.
the payload fairing at the altitude
Okay.
of about 100 kilometers.
I'll get back to the launch in just a second, guys. Sorry about this.
According to the
Just want to make sure nothing's gone
Now we
completely
can see again
wrong.
live streaming from inside the China space station.
They are watching
Wow.
our
Yeah.
live coverage.
That's so strange.
Getting closer
You can really see that supernova, like you said, mate.
And also on the right bottom of
But yeah, all the
the 3D animation.
I've never done this really with the Galaxy before, taking a look at it with just dual narrowband.
Okay, so
Look at that supernova though, eh? Wow.
3 ground stations.
Right, sorry, more important stuff's going off. Let's get back to the launch.
right.
So they are experiencing the
It's also a
G-forces.
relay race between different
Wow.
ground.
They have a relay.
Yes.
Curvature of Earth there.
And this is a video on the rear part of the second stage.
Wow.
It's still working at this moment,
It's
right?
all still working.
burning.
And the next critical step will be the shutdown of the main engine.
Lots of mega bright LED lights from your garden next door.
Very bright.
Oh, mate.
So they're now in outer space.
Pete
and
says,
the
still
second
find it
stage
difficult to believe that a lot of people still think this is all fake.
What's the next stage aim?
It is what it is, mate. It's, I guess if you're that far gone into the rabbit hole of
You can see
conspiracy
although
theory,
it's daytime, but the sky is black.
it's going to take more energy than we have to convince people otherwise.
So the rocket engine will take them to the right velocity and right altitude
Right.
and right orbit before there's
That's
a separation
incredible.
between the engine and the capsule itself. And then
13 humans in space right now. Yeah. Who weren't in space like 5 minutes ago.
Right.
That's nuts.
Wow.
They are very relaxed.
The Shenzhou 15 crew are relaxed. happily waiting for
Ah,
their
man,
colleagues. But
that's
we
awesome.
can also see that the 3 taikonauts in Shenzhou 16 spacecraft, that they also relaxed because
Feels like a lot of
through
relief
this process.
now that this,
And so far
you know,
it's been
far along in the mission and everything's fine.
Mr. Dr. Zhu Yangzhu and Dr. Gui Haichao, at this moment, they are
Not sure
already
about how
above
comfortable
the
that seating position would be,
because they
though.
are already,
Maybe they have to keep the
above the common line.
legs elevated a touch for the G-forces at launch. Helps force blood towards the brain.
Okay.
I don't
That
know.
is the artificial definition of the border of the outer space.
Right, the final frontier.
Chris says, it's a shame. I found that if you ask them, they just do it more. Oh, mate. Them some bad neighbours. Charles says, will this be a record for number of people in space at one time? That's an interesting thought, Charles.
Second stage engine.
I'm not really aware of a launch where there were perhaps more people than this going up at once.
The main engine.
Main engines
Yeah.
That does seem like a lot, doesn't it?
have reached the
16 crew members, apparently.
And the burning engine will do
It says in the description. I don't know if that's changed last minute or anything like that. Deserves a like, by the way. Forgot to do that.
Live footage from the camera mounted on this second stage. This is
Plus
live
the people.
stream.
Oh, so you mean like the total amount of people in space?
after shutdown of the burning
Vidinfra says, have you ever came across flat earthers, space deniers calling your pics fake? Oh yes,
you can see the
saying they aren't real because
Bode,
you've processed
solar
it.
array.
Yeah,
This is
I've had
the
quite a few of
backup
these on a few
solar
actual
array
Astro pages. Yeah, mate,
on the
100%.
solar
I've had people actively spend the time out of their day
Yes,
to leave.
storage batteries.
Storage batteries and once
Well, I'm sure they believe them. Comments on YouTube.
generate power by itself.
Yeah,
I don't know what they intend to do.
you can see
Really, by typing out these things, like,
Tracking the
just seems to just waste their time
from the 3D animation
and a little bit of mine while reading it.
see still that the four-body engines are still working.
right.
Mission name Shenzhou.
Trajectory.
so when
Shenzhou
down to the
16.
burning engine, this is the process they take full advantage of the launch vehicle.
Right. I have very largely misinterpreted, haven't I? So it's Shenzhou 16.
Full advantage
Crew
of the
members
launch vehicle competencies, and then after
And
separation,
apologies in advance for how bad this is going to be.
is on itself for it.
Jing Haipeng, Zhu Yangzhu, and Gui
Definitely
Haichao.
touching in the same position. So
I hope
is
that's
there relaxed,
close.
they're still anxious to
Thanks very much indeed for the clarification there, mate.
Well, we're also still anxiously waiting for that moment.
Okay, shut down.
Dean Louvier searched it up. Thinks it says 19 people, but only for a few minutes.
Now, the
Pete, I hope to see another launch one day. You saw a shuttle launch in 1998. One of the most awesome things I've ever watched. I can only imagine, mate. Yeah,
That means the launch vehicle
can
is
only
on
imagine.
itself.
it has now completely left.
I always ask flat earthers, so where exactly is the
Mark
edge?
2F is done. It's
And
finished.
next,
Hmm.
orbital parameters of the Shenzhou spaceship. And once you
It's,
confirm it is
I don't know, mate. It boggles my mind. It just
Right.
Now astronauts are feeling microgravity environment. They can throw up their
makes me wonder why. Why do people believe that?
just heard the voice, the Changjiang 3, which means the space tracking ship.
Now, on the left
They're a special kind of people. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure they believe what they're
are the Shenzhou 15 crew.
doing and talking about,
Soon, once the docking is complete,
even if it's
and they will,
by every judgeable metric
hand over.
wrong. But
Yeah, and
I don't know. It's up to them, innit? I guess their life. Spend it however they like, as long as it's not hurting other people.
that's crucial for a long trip, right?
You know that
Um,
Mr. Deng Qingling from the Shenzhou 15
According to Guinness World Records,
Right. Yeah.
the most people in space at once is 19 during Blue Origin's launch at the end of 2021. Interesting. So
Now we're looking at the
that does raise the question, though. The Blue Origin thing.
I see clearly the Earth is.
I guess that did reach the boundary of internationally recognized space. Because I had heard rumours it skirted just below, so you technically weren't an astronaut of sorts.
Shenzhou spaceship. So you can see the solar panels.
I guess that was just a rumour,
This
though.
camera will be there, right?
Yeah. And that's
Keith
transferring,
Doughton says there's a bunch of people who claim the Earth is flat. In fact, they claim to have followers all over the globe. Yeah.
Driven by bandwidth or
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
so there are coordinations between nurse and the
I like it.
IPU to get the
Astro station over. He targets air rooftop. Damn, dude. Ooh,
The solar
what's this
panel is
unfurling?
Unfolding.
unfolding very
Some solar energy array, I guess. Jeez, that thing snapped open quick.
It's fully unfolded.
Crikey.
What we can see.
I feel like I'm used to seeing stuff like that happen at a glacial pace.
Window 50 crew
That thing flopped out like a deck chair.
are watching closely. They've been watching in almost the very same positions, right?
Blink and you'll miss it.
Now Beijing,
Blue Origin suborbital, yeah.
solar panel unfolded.
You've got your 35-minute subs without clouds.
Just heard
Pity about the moon, but it's some data to mess with. Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it, Dave.
control center.
Really good way. And Isaac says apparently it's good enough for Guinness. Yeah.
Beijing
Yeah, I guess I was just repeating a rumour. I'd heard I'm as bad as a flat earther, mate.
from the Russian satellite to the Beijing Flight Control Center. But
and it will be so.
Are they going to build an island in space?
Test will be in the Zhejiang Satellite Launch Center.
I don't know. Can you imagine? Like a refueling station would be super cool, though, wouldn't it?
Great. The antenna for the data relay satellite has already been unfolded.
Solar panel. I just heard the solar panel is working.
Hey, thank you very much for joining, Vidinfra. Appreciate it.
That's the driver. We call that
Charles Paul says, I think
the solar array.
they're building a kilometre-long space station. Wow,
That's the arm of
that's incredible.
the solar array.
Yeah.
Fisheye lens to make a curve. That's it, mate.
This is a kind of a NASA left tradition.
The SATA has been used widely.
One of my employees was a space denier / flat earther. Had some interesting conversations. I can only imagine, mate. Yeah. Let's take a quick look at how this stack is processing. Progressing.
But that means that
Looks like we're getting some dawn light
in the Pacific,
starting to really infest
outside China, right?
this stack now, unfortunately. But I mean, there it is, the supernova, all the same, plainly visible. Interesting to note as well that those knots of I don't know what I thought were perhaps clustered regions of stars and such seem to be showing up with strong HA emissions
Successful launch at the
up there.
announcement of the
Nice.
successful launch.
I think I'll save
We're
this.
still in, technically speaking, we're still in the launch process, right? Until that announcement.
Pete,
successful.
Dave says I think I would slap a colleague if they tried all the BS on me. Oh, mate. Gave you a serious problem though, as they had to work offshore, working on systems that stop things falling, and they didn't believe in gravity. That's a
They can open their helmets.
that's a hard sell. Holy hell.
First, monitor the
Environment
atmosphere.
I guess we can
light support
think someone asked to see perhaps the cat's eye,
inside the cabin.
You can see the right side, the
if
window is
I'm
very
not
bright.
mistaken.
Yeah,
So
they're facing sunlight, basically.
If it's up,
a
we can take a quick
reflection of
peek.
sunlight from the Earth.
Or maybe how about a quick shot at the M16 Eagle, if that's just high enough now. I think we're approaching its highest, so
lift the
I'd like to see that if you guys don't mind.
You can see Mr. Zhu Yangzhu on the far side. Just near his seat. Cut the
ISS is 1 yard short of a football field in length. That's bigger than I thought, yeah.
the button during the landing.
Not very clear tonight. Nah, man, it's not. It's not been a great one. I've noticed the scene's been pretty poor too.
No, because he is 02.
Oh, 02.
Is EAA possible with the DSLR? It is indeed. Yeah, it is indeed. It's not quite as maybe interactive, I want to say, as this kind of thing is that we've got going on right now. You can live stack in SharpCap, but you can do something similar and still have a bunch of fun. Well worth a go, mate, anyway, if you're interested in it. Dave Kemp, off to bed. Congrats on an amazing stream. Thank you. I really appreciate that, mate. Can't wait for the next one. Hey, cheers. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
You've got your parameters now. What's your reading?
I think the cat's eye is pretty small, but maybe you'll be able to pull out some of the outer bands of M27. Maybe. I'm going to see if I can hit M16 just for a few minutes. We are just into astronomical dawn now, but meh. Got to be worth a go on it.
Apogee and apparently
Let's just see what we're actually looking at, though. Hopefully not the opposite side of the second telescope pier or something like that.
The perigee and apogee it must be lower.
Oh no, we
than
can see it.
Our space station. According to the
All right then, we'll have a few minutes on M16.
the lower
And,
it is, the faster
I am interested to see just how low this is pointing, so I'm just going to take a peek outside in the observatory.
within 6 hours, they will use their color.
So
6
the,
hours, a fast stop.
so here the apogee and the perigee is
Not too bad, honestly, guys. I think
something. The station is
we'll be able to get,
370 something.
I don't know, 10 minutes.
Below just
And we'll call that maybe
catch up at
the end of the stream. After that. You've tracked the ISS with the Meade LX200 eyepiece view. Wow.
Waiting for the official
That's pretty cool, mate.
result of the launch of the Shenzhou 16 mission.
Alright, let's jump. If I could control myself.
Officials, experts, and comrades. According to the flight data,
M16, yeah, it's very, very low, isn't it, mate? But we'll do his best. See what we can get. You can see the cluster. You can also see all the stars are deformed by how low that it is on the horizon. But it is what it is, eh? We'll have a go.
Solar panel has been unfolded successfully and is
Alright,
functioning
live
well.
stack.
I
Let
now
us
declare
see.
the launch of Shenzhou 16 mission a complete success.
Jack Maynard, seeing all the signal in your plate solve image makes me jealous. I'm sorry about that, mate. I am ridiculously lucky to own this gear. Yeah, I don't take that for granted, that's for sure. First exposure, 10 seconds away or so. Cameron, good to see you again, mate. Hope you're having a fantastic day. He says, these live streams are great to listen to while working. Oh, that's really nice to hear. For your information, it's almost lunchtime here on the East Coast, Australia. Must be early hours for you. It is, mate. It's 10 to 2 in the morning. So, we're burning the midnight oil. Let's get this thing balanced up. That's very green. Okay, so that's 1 minute on the Eagle Nebula at around about 20 degrees of elevation. So the stars, they're looking through so much atmosphere that they are getting blurred very badly. I hope that BlurXTerminator or something could help with that, but yeah. Still, it's just cool to be able to see it. Pretty damn neat. Sounds like that live stream's finished. Oh yeah. Cool, that were really neat. Thanks again, by the way, Lubo, for recommending that to us. That were a neat diversion. Enjoyed it, mate. Enjoyed it. Who's this guy who's live? EAA live stream. Alright, that second exposure's in. Let's take a little peek. Time travel for the win, Pete says, yeah. Anybody looking on SDLS Sky Tour livestream? Yep, 251, 252 now, 252 now, Dave. John Davies. Sorry for calling you Dave. Better than getting it completely wrong in it and call you Dave Johnnies. Look at that. I love this kind of side, I don't know, structure, spire, pier, whatever you want to call it. Incredible to see that kind of starting to emerge from the background. 10:52 Atlanta time. Manuel says, it would be nice to do a live stream where you quickly process some data from the viewers and give some advice. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I could perhaps explore something like that, Manuel, in the future, if you know enough people were interested in that kind of thing. Could be a good use of an evening. And completely overcast, says Linux Astro. No! Oh dear. I've made this 1 cup of coffee that is now absolutely, obviously, clock cold. Lasts about 3 hours at this point. 3 hours and 45 minutes. How sad is that? I need a coffee machine right here. Keep me going. Cosmic Ray says, do you like using Nina? Is SharpCap in Nina? No, so the 2 separate programs. I do like using Nina, but I tend to only really use Nina when I'm doing a serious session, shall we say. What I'm doing tonight, of course, is just EAA, Electronically Assisted Astronomy, where we're simply just scooting around the sky, taking a look at different objects and just appreciating them for a short period of time. Which SharpCap, that separate program, is perfect for. I love it for that kind of thing. But it's also really good in its own right. So I can't really talk down about it or anything like that. But Nina's extremely full-fledged. It's kind of a one-stop shop for everything astro. Pete's Astrophotography asks, how long are those exposures? Awesome detail. Thank you. 60 seconds, mate. We've currently got 5 minutes of exposure stacked up. And with each passing exposure, it's getting brighter too, unfortunately. The sky's really lighting up now, mate. But that'll do for me. We've had some fun and took a shot. So yeah, I think I'm going to probably call the EAA session at that, guys. If it's all good with you, start packing things down a little bit as I wind things up. So, yes, it has been an absolute pleasure. Jerry Valdez, have you tried ASI Studio apps? It has an auto-stacking app. So I've tried the ASI Fits viewer, and I really like it. A friend of mine recommended me that for kind of just taking a look at my sub-exposures. And I find it's a good program. I haven't tried out the rest of the studio though, unfortunate to say. Linux says, been a great night, thanks. Hey, thanks to you guys too. Every one of you, actually. Really appreciate you spending some time with me, spending some time in the chat, and just having a good time. It's been a good one. AZ Forerunner, hey up there, Jason. Nice of you to pop in, mate. Good to see you. I need to catch up on your guys' recent video, by the way. 100%. Excuse me. This is the lack of coffee kicking in. I would maybe like to catch up on a bunch of people's videos one of these days. And I don't know, maybe do that as part of a live stream if anybody would be interested in watching along and just chilling out with me. And it'd be a good way to help feature channels on my channel too. I don't know. There's lots of things we could explore with this kind of thing. Proteus, have a good night. My first time watching and it was enjoyable. Oh mate, that's fantastic to hear. Thanks ever so much for taking the time to let me know you enjoyed it. Appreciate it. Cheers. Oh mate, thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. CG Fraser, mate, you're still here. Thank you so much for spending all that time with me. Appreciate it. Jason, oh, so you'd be okay with that then, Jason? I mean, I absolutely love your guys' channels. I'd love to feature them, as much as I possibly could. I'd just hate to feel like, I don't know, like I was stepping on anybody's toes, I think is what I want to say, by watching and reacting to your content live and sharing it with people. But on the other hand, it's something I'd be doing on my own, regardless of whether I was live streaming it or not. So it might be a good way to do it. Keith Dutton, Luke, may I ask you what bottle class you are? Of course, sir, I am bottle 7 right now. Only getting worse, unfortunately. just to try and get some idea of what to expect from my new hobby. Ball 6 here apparently. So yeah, your skies are a good chunk better. So that's a really good sign. I have a 2600 MC and it's a steep learning curve. It is indeed. Yeah. Hey, no problem at all. You've got some lovely equipment there in that camera too. So Keith, if you have any questions and things, by the way, do drop in on my videos, live streams, things like that. Don't be afraid to ask, mate. If I can help you at all, I will. Because you know, I really love hearing about people getting started in this, because I was once there myself and I had a very rough start in astronomy. I don't want that for other people if I can at all help it. John says, thanks for trying, SH2129. I'll find you a more interesting target for the audience next time. Hey, no problem, mate. It were really interesting to actually try it and just see. It would a bridge too far, I reckon, like we said, you said as well, on a moonlit night and stuff, but we gave it a go. That's the key thing. Manuel, such a great chat. Thanks for live stream. My pleasure, mate. Thank you very much indeed for all the chat and time you spent. Jerry, cheers and good night. Cheers and good night to you too, my friend. Appreciate it. So that is about that, I reckon, guys. I've had a bunch of fun. Hope that you have too. Just unceremoniously close all this down. Looks good. And yeah, I think we're going to wrap things up. Just seen Jason's message. They're getting ready to set up tonight, 7 PM here. Looking for a little more data on NGC 6888, the Crescent. Whoo, nice one. Good luck to you, Jason. Good luck, mate. Wombat says the Astro community is great. 100% agree. Yeah. Keep up with the questions, as one person may know and 10 may not. Yeah, and also, I mean, if you ask a question, Keith, especially, you never know how many other people have got it on the mind, but just too afraid to ask. So do them a favour as well, and ask whatever you're thinking of at the time, mate. There's no wrong questions. Great live stream. Thank you, Lubo, and thanks again, by the way, for that recommendation. I really enjoyed seeing that launch, mate. Thank you, Jack. Been nice to spend my evening with you, buddy. Been really cool. And smash that like button. Like, yeah. Thanks, Lubo. Yeah. Brilliant then, guys. Well, that's about it from me. I now need to go rehydrate because I feel like a prune. I'm dried up. Yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. So, as always, look after yourselves and clear skies with any luck. I'll catch you all later.